everybody, CJ and Rico here. What's up, brother?
What's up, CJ? How are you?
I'm good. So why are we not starting like normal? Because this is part 2 of an episode, kind of?
Because we fucked up, that's why.
Well, we didn't fuck up. We just didn't know how to shut the fuck up, and we talked for 4 hours. So,
but I think our listeners are used to us not shutting the fuck up, or at least not me not shutting the fuck up.
Yeah, more you than me. But anyway, the point being is that we decided to split an episode into 2 parts, and we kept talking about how we were going to talk about Marvel TV, and guess what? We never did.
We never talked about Marvel TV. We fucked up. That's what I'm saying. We owe a lot to our listeners for being as patient as possible with us.
We owe a lot to our listeners just for listening every week.
True.
Anyway, so this is part 2 of an episode. It was supposed to be one gigantic episode, and it just became too big. It wasn't fair to you guys. So we're getting to Marvel TV that we said like 4 times. We're here. So we're going to get into all the Marvel TV shows, and then we break off into DC for some reason, but that's just what we do. So
because our knowledge is very limited.
Or our attention spans. I'm not sure which.
Oh, a kitty.
Yeah, basically. So, anyway, here is the rest of the episode picking up with our conversation about Daredevil. So, everyone enjoy. We can take this. We have another movie thing to talk about, but we'll come back to it. Right now, we'll spin off this and say that because of Liv Schreiber and the Kingpin, I saw season 3 of Daredevil. And holy crap.
Okay, no spoilers because I haven't seen it. And I'm sure a lot of other people have not seen it yet.
Sure,
so
I will not. I will not spoil. We usually spoil stuff. In this instance, I will do my best not to spoil. Okay? That's right. And I won't say much about it except that the bulk of it centers around Kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's really a secret. I think that was kind of in the, when you hear things being said about him before it was ever released, but he is like. So I have a positive and a negative thought of that. Like, he was the main villain to me in season 1 too, wouldn't you say?
In season 1, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's the main villain in this one too. So it's like they went back to the well, because season 2. See, it's really hard with Netflix because there's no ratings in the true sense of like you would get with like if it was on ABC or CBS or TNT or one of those channels where they can kind of say, these many people watched it when it aired. You don't get that with Netflix. Now, there's probably some kind of metric they have that they can see how many people have streamed it, but there's not like a rating like you get with normal television. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think season 2 didn't do as well for Daredevil.
Season 2 for me was just the Civil War for Civil War to introduce Spider-Man. Season 2 was just to introduce the Punisher, so we could have a Punisher.
But no, there's a difference, and this is what I mean. And hear me out, because Civil War, you're right, was a way to introduce Spider-Man to do Homecoming, and it was awesome, and it worked out, and fantastic. The season 2 of Daredevil felt more like a Punisher pilot, a 13-episode pilot for the Punisher, as opposed to a cameo like Spider-Man was in Civil War. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what that felt, and it's great because if I'm gonna rank the Marvel TV shows, for me, the Marvel TV universe, without question, goes in this order in terms of awesome. It's like my favorites. It's Daredevil, Punisher, Defenders, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and then Iron Fist in that order. Like that's the I think 6 it is.
I would agree with that, with the exception of I would swap Defenders with Jessica Jones. I like the first season of Jessica Jones a lot.
I like them both. I love Jessica Jones, but and this goes back to other conversation we had. I'm a huge fan of the ensemble thing. That's why Civil War is maybe my favorite independent Marvel movie, like non-official Avengers movie, because it's essentially an Avengers movie.
Yeah, that's all it is. I gotta correct you. So
please.
They did make a Batman. It's called Return of the Caped Crusaders, right?
The first one?
The first one. And they made a sequel called Batman versus Two-Face. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, but I don't think that's...
That's released. It's been released.
No. But I don't think that's Adam West.
That's Adam West. That was the last thing he did.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. He died, I think, right? He had done all his recording, but then he died.
Hey, you know what? You're right, Rico, but I didn't get that because of how much I didn't like the first one.
Well, I didn't see either of them because I mean, it's pretty much common knowledge. I'm not a huge fan of the 60s Batman. I didn't grow up with it. I was never, you know, Michael Keaton was my Batman. And I mean, all respect to Adam West and, you know, I just, you know, I'm not overly fond of camp. You know what I mean?
Right. And it is campy. And I did grow up not with it as it aired because I'm still too young for that myself, but I got it when it was in syndication. So I was getting, you know, 1 to 2 episodes every day, you know, right after school, you know. So
The unfortunate thing is when I think Adam West, I think of Batman.
You go Family Guy, don't you?
I go automatically go Family Guy. That's the unfortunate thing.
Well,
is that I definitely am that generation gap where it's like,
I don't know if that's unfortunate, though.
Adam West is one of my favorite voices to try to imitate and listen to. It's such a bizarre.
It is.
It's so weird. To reiterate, I'm catching up on Comic Book Man because Comic Book Man was on Netflix for a while,
right?
So, and then they stopped it, and they only had like a 3rd season for whatever reason on Netflix, and then they got rid of that, and now it's on Amazon Prime, and I'm stealing Steph's Amazon Prime to catch up on it.
Okay,
and
good.
I watched the Adam West episode last night.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, I mean, look, Adam West. I agree with you. Like, I'm not a big fan of the camp. I did enjoy the show as a kid because as a kid, you don't know better. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, when you're watching it as an 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old kid, it's fun to watch. It's hard to go back and watch now, you know, especially if you don't have the reverence for it like a Ralph Garman does. Because Ralph clearly has a huge reference for that show. And all respect to him for it. I'm not going to hate on him for that. That's his thing.
Yeah. It's potato. You know?
Exactly.
It's
so
different strokes for different folks.
And I'm glad I have the Cape Crusader one that I have because it is in our world for the things that we find important. It is a piece of history to have, and I'm glad I have it. But it's not something I'm gonna watch again. Whereas some of these other ones that have been out, like the Bad Blood and Batman versus Robin and the Suicide Squad, I've watched them a couple times. You know.
I actually liked the Batman versus Robin one. I thought that was pretty well done.
Yeah, I like most of the Batman ones. My favorite DC animated, and that's not what today's episode is supposed to be about, but is the Justice League War when Darkseid appears, and it's the Justice League first forming in that universe. Yeah. That's a really, really good one. And you know.
You know my favorite.
You've told me, but I honestly don't remember, Rico. I'm sorry.
Under the Red Hood.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the rare. That was so damn good.
It is, but I feel like that's not this current incarnation of DC animated. You know what I mean? Like the DC animation.
It's earlier, yeah. Actually, I have a correction for you.
Okay.
Because I was listening to our old episodes, which I do frequently. Because I just love the sound of our own voices.
So that's why our numbers keep getting inflated.
Well, so that's my contribution.
Sure. Yeah, it's not like you do anything here.
Right. When we were talking about the Joker, the new Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
Yeah.
You said if they're going to do an origin story, they have to do the Red Hood.
It sounds like they are.
No, I thought what I think you meant was the Killing Joke.
Was it The Killing Joke where he's this out of work comedian or whatever?
That's the definitive Joker origin story. And that brings me to the fact that like that's one of the biggest disappointments of a Batman animated movie. I was just like, oh dude, Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy as go doing The Killing Joke. The Killing Joke was one of the most fucking visceral, amazing, and then you're like, wow, this was really fucking weird and bad.
Yeah,
like, Hamill's great, Conroy's great, but it just was
We've
bad.
talked about it before, and I don't share your sentiment about it, but I do respect where you're coming from, because you made valid arguments when we talked about it, I remember, but I don't share all of them. But anyway, Kingpin and Daredevil did not... Look, that's the thing, like, do you follow stuff like the Emmys and those award shows? Do you follow that stuff? I don't mean like, oh my god, it's on, I gotta watch, but do you like keep track of like who wins shit?
Not so much on the Emmys. I do have to for the Oscars because at work we have an Oscar contest. If you when they announce the nominations, we have a list at a little contest. If you predict who's going to win and actually the running time or what time it's going to close, then you get like a bunch of free rentals from us. So I have to follow that. But Emmys, not so much.
And I'll ask you. Well, I'll tell you why I was asking about that in a second. But I just had a fucking brilliant idea that we should do, because I can share my screen with you, as you've seen. We were just doing it, right?
Yeah, you showed me all your weird chicken
nugget sex. Yeah. No, but seriously, but like when we were watching that trailer for Spider-Man, I can share my screen with you.
Yeah.
Let's fucking watch the Oscars together and fucking live commentate the whole damn thing for an episode.
Fuck yeah, dude. I mean, if I'm not working. That's the other thing.
It's a Sunday night.
Then fuck yeah.
It's always a Sunday night. And the only thing we'll have to do is watch it without sound. So we'll have to watch it with like closed captioning on or something. We'll have to find a way to do it so that we don't record the sound. That's the only catch.
Right.
But if we do that, we should watch the Oscars. I think that'd be and live run it while we're... and then we can talk about shit during the commercials. I think that'd be awesome. What do you think?
I think it's a great idea. As long as we title the episode like Oscar the Grouches.
I love it. Done. Anyway, so the reason I asked about the Emmys was because like have people from the Netflix shows won Emmys? Like have there been? I guess Stranger Things won some stuff. I think last year. Or the last time it aired, whatever year it was qualified for.
Orange is the New Black, I think, won a couple times.
Have they? Okay, because Vincent D'Onofrio deserves a fucking Emmy for his role in it.
100%.
No. I mean... But Rico, like...
You're talking about for the third season?
Yes, because it's... And he was good in the first season, so I don't disagree with where you're coming from, but it's brilliant, this third season. Is brilliant what he does with this character. It's ridiculous.
I can't watch Daredevil season 3 without Michael. Michael and I, we try to watch.
Does he listen?
What?
Michael, does he listen to the show? No? Okay. No. All right, never mind.
I've pushed him to listen a couple episodes. I've always said, you should listen because you come up a lot. And he's just like, he's not a podcast guy. He's not the type to...
I know. I was going to make a plea to him to let you watch the fucking thing. That's all.
I can't do it. I mean, he watched... occasionally we can amend it. Like, he watched all of Iron Fist season 2 without me.
I tell him I'm sorry.
But then he was like, dude, you've got to fucking watch it. I'm like, oh, is it good? He's like, no, you really got to watch it because it's really fucking weird.
It's a train wreck.
But here's the thing. It actually, to talk about Iron Fist for just a minute.
Yeah, please, because I've never really watched it.
Did you see the first season?
No. Mark Bernardin trashed it so badly, it made me not want to see it.
I'll tell you who is worth watching in the first season, as well as like the one who really makes the show just kind of fucking awesome is the woman who plays Colleen Wing.
Okay. I think she shows up in the Defenders, doesn't she?
She's in the Defenders. She's the one who she like has the katana and she's like saves night when her arm gets cut off.
She's good. I agree. Yeah.
She honestly is like amazing. You want to talk about who deserves a fucking Emmy? She deserves a fucking Emmy. She is so damn good. Because Iron Fist and what?
No. Go ahead.
Danny Rand and the actor who plays him is so goddamn infuriating and annoying. Especially, I mean, honestly, like, look, I'm not going to hold back on my criticism of anything.
Yeah.
He can act, but and I don't blame him. I blame some of the writers. I blame some of the direction. I do blame his casting. I would never in a million years ever cast him as my interpretation of Danny Rand. One, Danny Rand is half Asian. So
okay.
the fact they went really white and really blonde,
white, yeah,
really was kind of like, oh, Marvel, you're so good at being diversive. Why'd you fuck up here?
Right. So let me cut you off for a second because I have a question I want to ask you. So for those of you who have not heard, Iron Fist and Luke Cage have been canceled. So there's not going to be a season 3 of either show. It's done. It's done. However,
you know what that means now?
What?
That means that they're literally friends for hire.
Well, there's that too. But here's what I was wondering, because the one compliment I've heard from multiple people, primarily from Mark Bernardin, is that the best part of Iron Fist is when Luke Cage is on screen with him, because he does show up, apparently. Maybe in season 2. Maybe in season 2. I don't know.
Luke Cage does not show up in season 2 of Iron Fist. Maybe Iron Fist shows up in the second season of Luke Cage.
Maybe. Neither have I.
I haven't gotten that part yet.
Yeah, so, okay, maybe that's it. But also they spend time on screen together a lot of time on screen together in Defenders. And he was saying that them together makes Danny Rand basically bearable, is the way he put it, or even entertaining, I think. So what if they don't do Luke Cage or Iron Fist, but they do like a together show where you get the two of them throughout the whole season?
Their team is called Friends for Hire. That's what they're known as.
Okay, no, I didn't. This is not something I'm familiar with, so I didn't know you were.
They're an actual team up called Friends for Hire.
Okay.
But I was making a joke because now they're both unemployed, so they really are friends for fucking hire.
Right. But that could be a way to go, because
honestly, I'd rather see that, because their own separate fucking stories are just boring.
Because Jessica Jones comes up in Daredevil at one point. She doesn't show up. She's not on screen, but he makes a joke about her being a drunk detective. But in a like tongue in cheek, not like a she's shitty detective, like something about like being a little more consistent because you're not drunk or something like that. But it's done in a very fun kind of way, like poking fun in a way that you and I would bust chops on each other. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
Right.
And
because I think Daredevil and Jessica Jones got along.
Yeah,
probably the best in Defenders. More, it's thrown two separate teams because, Luke Cage and Danny Rand they're friends for hire, and then you got Daredevil, and because they all have superpowers with the exception of Daredevil.
Right, and that's the Daredevil's got. See, and that's the thing about Daredevil, the character, not the show, but the character. The character has special powers. He has superpowers in the sense that because of the accident, all his other senses get jacked up to like 11. Like, I know that anytime you lose a sense in real life, like real humans, like if you lose your eyesight or your sense of smell or whatever, all your other senses tend to get more, or not sense of smell, but you know what I mean? Like,
so what you're saying is when my since I'm like partially deaf and my eyes suck, that hides my sense of humor?
No. Maybe your sense of touch, but anyway.
I'm making a joke. Sense of humor. You need to have a sense of humor, you fuck.
Yeah, well, that makes two of us. No, but in all seriousness, I would argue that Daredevil does have superpowers. And my only complaint about Defenders was when he finally gets into the suit. Because it was weird seeing Daredevil in the Daredevil suit and everyone else is in, like, street clothes. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was the only weird part of Defenders for me.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I like the way they did. Look, if I'm being honest, I like all the shows. There are some I like more than others. There's some I really don't like, but I'm just grateful they're making.
I've struggled to get through Luke Cage, and to be clear, I like the concept of the character. I really do, and I like the guy playing him. Like, I think he's a good actor. Like, I don't think he's bad at this. Like, I don't know if it's the writing or what, but I'm just having trouble connecting to it. Do you know what I mean?
For Luke Cage season 1, I knew it was going to go downhill when they killed off his father figure mentor, Pops.
Like episode 3, wasn't it? It was like way early. Yeah.
Frankie Faison is one of those actors. Every time he comes on, I'm just like, oh, I fucking love this guy. He's so good. Yeah. He was in the Hannibal Lecter movies.
First time I ever saw him was Coming to America.
He's in Coming to America?
Yep. I'll look him up because I don't remember the name of the character, but I know he's in it. I'll look him up while you're talking. Anyway.
But yeah,
you're right.
Such a great. I mean, obviously, you know, if you are a superhero and you have a father figure, your father figure dies. That's just going to happen. To be fair, it is amazing Aunt May has lasted this long because she's not a father figure, but like every parent dies when you're a fucking superhero. Or will eventually die, or something catastrophic. So to introduce a character named Pops, of all fucking characters, and he was, you know, you got to give that character that rage, and then he's got to stop himself from killing and going out for revenge. He's like, no, this is not the way. I have to be a hero.
How do you not know who he was in that movie? I'm disappointed in you. I'm surprised I forgot this, but I'm disappointed in you.
Remind me.
He's the landlord for the place they rent when they come to Queens.
Okay, isn't that like one scene?
No, he's in a couple scenes. And he's got one of the best lines in the movie when he's talking to that guy who threw himself down the stairs. He goes, "Your rent's due, motherfucker."
Oh my god, I totally fucking didn't make that connection. Holy shit, you're right. Fuck.
That's Frankie Faison.
Yeah. Okay, well, whenever I think of him, I automatically think of the Hannibal Lecter movies because he plays. Sure. Did you see those? You see Silence of the Lambs?
No. Oh, I saw Silence. I saw Silence like once or twice. Yeah. I've seen Silence, but that's the only one I've seen. I haven't seen Red Dragon or Hannibal.
Oh, dude. Red Dragon's my personal favorite.
That's the one with Ed Norton, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a prequel. It's a prequel to Silence.
Right. I knew that.
The ending of that is the beginning of Silence of the Lambs. So he plays the orderly who like gets spared by Hannibal Lecter. Like you kind of like it's this very open secret. Like Hannibal Lecter will never kill him because Frankie Faison's character. That's what I'm saying. Barney treats Hannibal Lecter with a lot of respect and always just kind of sits around and talks to him. And Hannibal Lecter just obviously needs someone to talk to. And like when Clarice Starling shows up, he's the one who gives her the like, I put a chair out for you. Just don't get too close. Just he might be sleeping. So just like you're like, this guy's always a nice guy unless he's a landlord, I guess.
Well, even then he was a nice guy. He just didn't want to get fucking ripped off. So.
Yeah, once he died on the 3rd episode or whatever of Luke Cage, I was just like, motherfucker, I don't give a shit about the woman who plays the big bad in Luke Cage, like she's the mayor or she's a councilwoman or whatever the fuck she is. She's also the same actress, was also in Civil War. She's the woman who goes up to Tony Stark at the elevator and said, which was kind of like, come on, Marvel, keep your shit together. Pay attention to who you're fucking casting in your shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if Civil War came out before the first season of Luke Cage. It might have.
It did because they cast her. Netflix and Marvel cast her for Luke Cage, not knowing that, or just forgetting that she was in Civil War. You're just like, motherfucker.
Here's the one thing I will tell you, and I'm not gonna. like you asked me not to spoil Daredevil, and I'm not going to, but there's one thing I will say that's somewhat of a spoiler that I was disappointed in, is that Claire doesn't show up. There's no Claire.
There's no night nurse?
No. Claire does not show up in that season whatsoever. So, that was a little disappointing.
I reached a part, I probably could spoil this because it's sort of what you're talking about. In Luke Cage season 2.
Oh, again, yeah, tell me, because I'm not... anything about Luke Cage or Iron Fist, feel free to say it, because I'm never going to probably catch it.
Because I will ruin Iron Fist, because that is a fucking motherfucker.
Fine.
Okay, so, but let me get to Luke Cage.
Yeah, but...
Luke Cage and Claire are a couple for the second season.
Okay, I thought he hooked up with that detective that was missing an arm.
He did, and then he went on. He went from cop to nurse. So
okay, fair enough.
And then
how did he not break her pelvis? Like seriously, the way he fucks Jessica Jones, shit.
Which is what we were talking about earlier, where they're like, they pushed that PG-13 rating really hard. That sex scene where Jessica Jones is like riding him and they break the fucking bed and he says "Sweet Christmas." You're like, oh, that's where they're going to use his fucking tagline?
Is that his tagline? I'm not familiar.
Yes, "Sweet Christmas." He says "Sweet Christmas" after he fucked the hell out of Jessica Jones and she didn't die. I
was so jealous of him.
Oh my god, dude! But like that scene where they broke the bed, I'm just like, this is owned by Disney. What the fuck?
It wasn't at the. Well, I guess it was. Yeah, go ahead. Anyway.
But I was like, you are seeing thrust. Like she is.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching with Michael. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? This is like if you showed me a scene where Robert Downey Jr. is plowing the fuck of Gwyneth Paltrow. Or Iron Man 4, or that, I would say...
Or that reporter from the first one, whatever her name was.
Yeah, but like there's no thrusting. It's just like, oh, he's a playboy, he's fucking reporter, and they're drunk, and they're giggling, and
they fall off the bed, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
And that was before Marvel owned them. Not Marvel, but Disney. Disney didn't own Marvel at that point.
I just couldn't fucking believe what I was watching. I mean, it was aggressive fucking. And it was like this is the first time we're actually seeing like superheroes bang it out.
Yeah, like, you know what? For me, I was just fucking jealous.
Aroused.
What's that?
You were just aroused.
No, I was jealous because she's smoking hot to me.
Did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
No.
She shows up early in like one of the earlier seasons.
Oh,
she plays sort of the same type, because Kristen Ritter kind of is one dimensional as an actress. I just haven't seen her do anything. I take that back. She is really amazing in Jessica Jones, but when she's not doing the all over the place emotional like PTSD role that she does,
right?
She's very much like I'm a cynical, snarky, probably drunk character, which she does a lot in a lot of the TV and shit I've seen her in. So she does basically the same thing in Breaking Bad, except she's a recovering heroin addict.
Okay, so real quick, let me ask you something, because I just thought of something I remembered hearing. All of the second season of Jessica Jones was directed by all female directors on purpose. Like they did that on purpose because it was definitely at the beginning, if not the height of the Me Too movement. So, and I've got no problem with that personally. But Bernardin pointed it out on an episode of what was then Fat Man on Batman, where he said, like, you can tell the difference between the fact that these are female directors versus having male directors. And he wasn't saying it like it was bad. He was just saying that the way it was shot, you could tell that it was shot differently. There was less... Like, he didn't say this, but he implied he wouldn't have gotten that scene with Luke Cage if it had been a female director during that episode.
I don't know if that's true, because the showrunner for the first season is a woman. So she was ultimately the creative control.
Well, and it's funny, and I wish I could remember who said it, but I was listening to something else the other day. It might have been Garmin, actually, on Babylon, where they're talking about how the difference in the way Wonder Woman was shot meaning the character, between Wonder Woman, the movie, and Justice League. He said there were much more upskirt shots in Justice League because a man was running the camera. And I had to go back, and he's right. It's not like you've seen Cooch, but, you know.
The Wonder Cooch?
Yeah, the Wonder Cooch. But he's right. There's more sexual shots of her in Justice League than there ever are in Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman's an amazing movie, so like I'm not saying it like it's a good thing, you know.
And to be fair, Wonder Woman does feature a lot of revealing outfits. The movie itself, not the character, both. Because like there's that blue dress she's wearing.
Oh, yeah, she's gorgeous in that. Oh.
Did you see that meme where it shows like where is she fitting that sword, and it just shows like a drawing underneath the back the back area where it shows the sword like between her butt cheeks, and someone wrote like literal buns of steel.
That's kind of funny. That's all funny.
Steph actually has that shirt, so it's a shirt that's designed, and on the back it's a shirt logo of the sword going down her back.
That's kind of funny.
So it's just the handle.
Right.
But I'm like, you are my Wonder Woman. But
she totally is. Anyway,
she really is. She's my superhero. I posted a Facebook thing saying happy birthday.
Yeah.
And I called her my superhero, but also more to the point where for the one that I brought her birthday present because I just said she needs some cheering up.
Yeah.
And I got her a replica of the Green Lantern ring.
Oh, nice.
And so we discussed many times. She's a huge fan of the Green Lantern. So I was like, and she loves jewelry. So she wears two rings that I got her. One was a Ravenclaw themed ring. So it's just a Ravenclaw and then a blue stone.
Okay.
And because she's a fan of Ravenclaw for some reason.
Right.
Because she's wicked smart. And then I got her the Green Lantern. So she's got a green and a blue on other hand.
You know, without deviating too much, but I mentioned that conversation earlier that I had with her last night on her trip back to LA. And like one of the things I told her was like this show would not be where it is if it was not for Stephanie. Flat out.
100%. It would not be as successful.
It's not even about that. It's she's very inspirational to the show for me. And I'm not saying she's not for you, but to me she's very inspirational to this show and where we go. Like, you know, the round table thing that we're going to be doing. Yes, April is the inspiration for doing the actual round table, but it's Stephanie's influence that gives me the guts and the balls to have that conversation to begin with. Do you know what I mean? And I flat told her that.
It gives it the validity as well.
Right. Absolutely.
So if it's just two men decide to talk about women issues, it's like, well, okay, but like we need a woman also as well.
That's where April comes in for the roundtable, and Steph, of course. But I'm talking about, like, I wouldn't have the balls to even have the conversation if it wasn't the fact that Steph influences that. So, and I told her that yesterday.
Right.
Anyway, that aside.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But I just, she's heard me say it, but I think the world needs to hear it too, and that's why I wanted to say it there. Anyway, so going back
one little thing for all our listeners, if you really could do us all a favor. Show Stephanie some love. We'll supply her Twitter at the end of the episode. We always do.
Yep.
Show her some love. She's going through a rough time. You know, you guys don't have to, give us compliments or give us praise, but show the wonderful Stephanie some love. She really needs it.
Yeah, totally. She's the backbone of this podcast without question, in my opinion.
She's definitely the heart.
Sure. The heart. That's a better way to put it. Yes, thank you. Anyway, on to another powerful woman in Wonder Woman.
Back to superheroes fucking.
Yeah. No, but Jessica Jones. So watching Jessica Jones for me, especially season 1, was like, all right. I loved Daredevil, and at that point we hadn't gotten any other shows. It was Daredevil, and that was it. And it was like, but Daredevil was...
It was Daredevil and then Jessica Jones.
Right. But Daredevil was so good. It was like, that's what... Because I didn't know who Jessica Jones was. I'd never heard of that character before. I'll be honest with you. Maybe you had, but I was not familiar with that character in any capacity whatsoever. But the fact that it was the same.
I was, but only to the point where I knew she was the wife of Luke Cage. That's all I really knew of her.
I didn't even know that much. So the fact that the same group of people that were working on Daredevil, at least at the planning level, were putting this show together, I wanted to see it. And it didn't fucking disappoint. Like, it was awesome. I loved Jessica Jones season 1. And I enjoyed season 2. Season 1 was better. I will say that. I liked season 1 better. And it has nothing to do with what we were just talking about with all women directors. It had nothing to do with it. It just, the story didn't grab me like the season 1 did. That Kilgrave thing, like, I'll say this much. I'm not a Doctor Who fan. I'm not. And I know that's sacrilege on a show like this, but I'm not. And it's not even I don't like it. I've just never got into it. It's really what it boils down to. So it's not even like I dislike it. I've just never gotten into it. But it made me, and I haven't done it yet, but it's made me kind of want to go back and watch that Doctor. Like, I know that Kilgrave is one of the Doctors, and I don't remember which one. I'd have to look it up. But I almost want to watch his run as the Doctor now, because I really enjoyed him as an actor. His character is a dickhead, but I think that's the idea.
David Tennant.
Yep, thank you.
Is the actor, and I'm right there with you. I was never a Doctor Who fan. I've had girlfriends that have put on episodes and shit, and I've watched it. It's just, I think I'm with you. I think I just need to start it and like just get into it, because in theory, it is a show that we would probably both like.
Probably,
you know.
And I know Arlen's ears are bleeding right now if she's listening, because we both know she's a huge Whovian.
But in theory, I mean, we both love Monty Python, both like British humor.
Yep.
We both, and we both like geeky shit. So it's really up there. And I mean, I can honestly say a lot of the shows that we love would really not be as integral or as well written if it wasn't for Doctor Who, or even
some of them wouldn't exist if there wasn't Doctor Who.
Yeah, Doctor Who, Star Trek, even Batman 66 was really one of the. I mean, Doctor Who predates it for sure.
Yeah.
But well, I don't know.
I think it does. Yeah, I think it does. Okay. I'll check for you, but Doctor Who's been on for fucking decades. And decades.
Yeah,
and decades.
I don't know if it was 70s or if it was 60s. Anyways, around the same time.
I'll look it up. You just keep,
But like stuff like that I like Buffy. I mean, I know you haven't watched any Buffy.
All of that.
Buffy, all the Marvel shit, all the Arrow shit, even the Flash. Like, we got to. So for David Tennant as Kilgrave, or as Purple Man is really what he is known as.
What is it, not Kilgrave in the comic?
No, he is, but he's known as Purple Man. That's his supervillain name is Purple Man.
The original Doctor Who in 1963.
Wow, so it predates Batman
by 3 years, and Star Trek by 4. No, I think Star Trek was 67. I'm looking right now, but I'm pretty sure it was 67.
Okay. Because I think the original Star Trek show was black and white, if I remember correctly.
No, maybe one episode, but I think it quickly went to color.
Okay,
because that's the old joke about the red shirts always die.
That's a good point.
And you wouldn't know that if it was black and.
Did you ever see Galaxy Quest, by the way?
Oh, I love Galaxy Quest. Yeah.
Dude, I just rewatched it for like the first time in like probably 10 years. It is so fucking amazing. I love
66 for Star Trek. So same year as Batman.
Same year as Batman. I love Galaxy Quest. That was my favorite Star Trek movie without being Star Trek. And I don't like Star Trek.
Yeah, and without realizing it, I think it's the first time I ever saw Justin Long. Like, I think I realized it later, but I think that's the first time I saw him.
That might very well have been his debut, because, I mean, right after that, he started getting a lot of attention, but that might have been one of his debuts.
I loved him. My favorite role of his is honestly Die Hard, Live Free or Die Hard, the fourth Die Hard. I know that's not a great movie, but I actually really enjoy that one because I'm a tech guy, you know that. So like all the the fire sale and all that stuff, I enjoy that, so.
And he does that intelligent geek very well.
Yeah, and he's a rock dude. I mean, I don't know how much you remember that movie, and I don't want to go too off into it, but like that first scene in his apartment, he's got like Spawn and Terminator statues and like all that, and he's playing Flyleaf on his TV. Like that movie screams
2007. If we're really
totally
being honest.
Yeah, but it's okay that it does. as far as I'm concerned.
So for David Tennant, honestly, because and we could talk about this a lot on the roundtable, which will be coming out as soon as we film it.
Yeah, or tape it.
The unfortunate thing is I have dated a lot of girls that have been in similar, I mean, obviously not exact situations as Jessica Jones, but I've definitely dated girls that have been assaulted and raped and abused, and that PTSD that they cover,
it's a real thing.
Is a real thing, and you never see it. It's very rare that you see it on TV. Yeah. Obviously, there are shows that do it, but not in the superhero realm.
And to take it back to season 2, that's what I think makes season 2 so disappointing. And I think I just realized it as you were talking, but like season 2 falls back into the typical TV tropes of, okay, the person's got a drug addiction and dealing with the drug addiction, meaning well, not really a sister, but you know what I mean, the blonde,
the pseudo sister,
Trish,
the adopted sister,
and like, you know, there was a drug.
But I liked her coverage more than I liked the whole like her mother's the villain thing.
No, totally. I agree, but it still falls into tropes, you know, whereas season 1, like you said, it deals with something that's never really dealt with on TV or movies very often, and it was done in a way that's, I feel, having not experienced something like that, not very triggering. And maybe it's something, like you said, we should bring it up on the roundtable and ask, because I'm sure there's, from the sounds of it, I think we're going to have a couple people that have gone through something like that on the table, so hopefully we can ask them. But I think it was season 1 was just better. It's not to say season 2 was bad. I'm looking forward to season 3, because to jump back to Daredevil for a second, I was, as we said earlier, I was not overly impressed with season 2. I enjoyed it because it's Daredevil and I love Daredevil and I'm enjoying the show and it's awesome. But season 3 was ridiculous.
Because season 2 was amazing because of the Punisher. If you took the Punisher out, it would have been bad. Season.
Yeah, totally. I agree 1,000%. The Punisher saved that season, and for not having the Punisher in season 3 or any cameos for that matter, it really worked. Do you know what I mean? Like season 3 was good.
Yeah.
I have a couple issues with it, but I can't talk about them right now because it would spoil stuff for you, so I don't want to.
Yeah, don't do that.
I don't want to do that.
But speaking of spoilers, I'm going to spoil Iron Fist season 2.
Well, before you do that, I just want to confirm for you. You were correct. Galaxy Quest is Justin Long's first movie.
No shit. That was just a guess, but
no, but you're right. It's his first movie. The first one. At least he's getting credit for on IMDb. We'll put it that way.
You know what's crazy is that he also looks a lot like a very young Tom Allen, which is really weird.
Yeah, and that may be one of the reasons why he got casted for it.
I mean, he's also in the Kevin Smith world. I mean, he's in Zack and Miri, and he's also in Yoga Hosers, and he's in Tusk.
He is Tusk.
He's the Walrus dude.
Yeah, he is Tusk. Spoilers for people who won't ever watch that fucking movie. You know he played Steve Jobs?
In what?
A movie called I, Steve from 2013.
Oh, is that when they were making all those Steve Jobs movies?
I think so,
Ashton Kutcher, then they made... they really pushed that Steve Jobs thing. Like, all right, we fucking get it. He was a pioneer.
I saw the Ashton Kutcher one. It was okay. The Ashton Kutcher one was all right.
If you love dialogue-driven movies, the one with Fassbender is
that good?
Amazing.
I want to see that.
Did you ever like The West Wing and any Aaron Sorkin dialogue kind of shit?
I'm sure. I never saw The West Wing, but he did A Few Good Men, didn't he, Aaron Sorkin?
Yeah.
And I fucking love that movie. I love that movie. So
you should give Jobs a shot.
I will.
Steve Jobs. Jobs is the Ashton Kutcher one.
Okay. Real quick, because you mentioned that Justin Long's in the Kevin Smith world, and I knew that, and I knew he's in Yoga Hosers, and I know he plays the yoga instructor, right? But I don't think I ever realized what his name is. Do you know what his name is?
Yogi Berra.
No, Bear. but it's spelled Bayer. Yogi Bear.
Yes.
I've seen it. I own it. As you do too. I know because you have a signed copy. But
yeah,
that's funny. Anyway, let's do Iron Fist because I want to talk about Punisher a little bit and Defenders a little bit, and then we have a couple Marvel movie things to get into. So let's get going.
All right. So without dragging out the whole, for those of you who have not seen season 2 of Iron Fist, I'm doing you a fucking favor.
Oh,
okay?
and we do have a couple. We have a DC thing we should talk about too. Don't let me forget that.
Okay. Yeah. So I will say Iron Fist season 2 is actually better than Iron Fist season 1. But it has one of the most what the fuck endings I've ever seen.
For the season or an episode?
For the season. And especially because I found out it was canceled and then I saw season 2. So I'm like, how the fuck are they going to fucking fix this? So what it is we talked about Colleen Wing. So do you remember the character Davos that is best friends with Danny Rand over in Kung Lung or whatever the fuck it is?
I never watched any of the season, so unless it shows up or it's referenced in Defenders, I don't.
I'm trying to remember. I only saw Defenders once. I'm trying to remember if he's in Defenders.
Yeah, Anyways, I think the only person from Iron Fist in Defenders besides him is the board, I think, of his company, and then that woman you referenced earlier who's kind of like his best friend.
His best friend who becomes his girlfriend in season 2. So what it is right now, Danny Rand he takes over the protector of the city from Daredevil because Daredevil, season 2 starts with Iron Fist taking over basically the mantle of the protector of New York. Because, I haven't seen season 3 of Daredevil, but at the end of Defenders, Daredevil is presumed dead to everyone else. We know he's alive. Everyone else thinks he's dead.
Well, no, you don't know he's alive at the end of Defender. Well, yeah, okay, you're right.
Yeah, I do.
There's that scene.
He gets rescued or some shit. It's about, which is nice. They do the PS scene for some shows. They do not do a bonus credit scene during Iron Fist because I was like, what the fuck? And I'm with the credits. I'm like, oh, it really just ends like that. Okay, well, that's fucking
There
weird.
is kind of a PS scene because I was reading an article about it. It leads to the trailer for Daredevil 3. If you watch the last episode, go all the way to the end of credits, it's the Daredevil season 3 trailer in the credits.
I did. I did. All it did was restart season 1, and I was watching it intently, okay, this is the next episode. Wait a minute, this is the fucking first episode of the first season. Fuck you, Netflix, for throwing me the whole switcheroo.
All right. Anyway,
so he's now taking over he's fighting all the triad criminal enterprise in Chinatown and New York and all that shit.
Right.
And one of the biggest complaints that I had for the first season was that he didn't use the Iron Fist enough. He is the Iron Fist. He should use the fucking Iron Fist. He says he's the immortal Iron Fist in every fucking episode at least 30 times. In every episode, that's why he gets really fucking annoying. He's just who am I? I am the immortal Iron Fist.
Are you
I'm the protector of Kunlun.
Season 2?
I'm talking about season 1.
Okay, because the thing that I heard the most annoying about season 1 was all the boardroom scenes.
There's a lot of boardroom scenes, and it starts off with him arriving in New York, looking like a homeless guy. He's barefoot because he just traveled from the ancient, mystical fucking city of buttfuck Kunlun and all that shit. So he's been presumed dead for 15 years because his plane crashed in the fucking Himalayas or some shit.
To me, it just sounds like a mystical version of Arrow.
It really is.
Okay.
But he actually gets taken in. He gets, trained by, to be this warrior. And then he gets his power, the immortal fist, the Iron Fist, by beating the fuck out of a dragon. Okay. And I guess hugging the dragon, which absorbs its essence and power, which is why he's got. It's not a tattoo. It's a tattoo, but it's also a burn in his skin. He has the dragon tattoo on his chest, which is pretty badass. Not gonna lie. But the fact that he beat the fuck out of a dragon or hugged the dragon to get this power is pretty cool. Yeah. So he's protecting the city in season 2. He's it's really a sequel to the Defenders. It's really a throw off from the Defenders, what happened.
Well, so's I feel like
Luke Cage.
Well, yeah, but I also feel like Jessica Jones did a little bit, and Daredevil does as well. Like, they all really do. Well, I mean, I can't speak for them all because I didn't really watch the other two, but I can say that Jessica Jones and Daredevil really do splinter off of the events of the Defenders well.
Not so much as Iron Fist, because Iron Fist brings back the detective Misty Knight, the one who lost her hand or arm.
I think she shows up in Luke Cage too, doesn't she? Season 2? She's a
main figure in Cage.
Okay, yeah.
From what I've seen so far of season 2 of Luke Cage, she is dealing with a lot of I think the Rand Corporation gives her cybernetic prosthetic.
Yes, I think you're right, because I saw that far into Luke Cage, I think.
So she has a prosthetic, It's not Stark tech, but it's pretty fucking close.
By the way, real quick, you were talking earlier about Peter being a genius and setting up his own suit. I seriously want to see, Tony, Shuri, and him work together on something. I think that would be amazing to see what they came up with together.
With Bruce Banner. That'd be good.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, but Bruce would be if you're ranking them off, I'd put him at 4. You know what I'm saying?
I would say it'd probably be Shuri, Stark, Banner, and then Parker.
I'd flip Parker and Banner in that list, but otherwise I'm with you. So, anyway, go ahead.
Anyways, so Iron Fist is a lot of the show is just him having this weight of responsibility that Daredevil just gives him. You need to protect my city. I am the protector of the city. I am Kunlun. Blah, 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 blah. And he uses the Iron Fist a lot. So it's a lot more action oriented. And the actor looks like he actually did some working out, because in the first season, he's supposed to be this amazing martial artist. Doesn't have a impressive looking body. He just looks like a dancer. Ooh,
yeah, he looked undersized in Defenders, I thought.
Yeah, he's very undersized, but he actually got some muscle tone for this one. I think that was a lot of the fans screaming you can't be a martial artist without a six-pack. What's wrong with you?
I think there was a lot of issues with
there was a lot of issues, in particular the boardroom shit. But I go to the characters in the boardroom are his his childhood friends that he basically refers to them as his brother and sister, they're a family.
Yeah, you heard.
There's a lot.
You heard Bernardin's biggest complaint with season 2, right?
No.
Okay, so you watched the season, so you correct any mistakes I may have. But apparently they talk a lot about the dragon under the city in New York.
There's no dragon under the city.
What's that?
There's no dragon under the city.
But they say they reference it. I'd have to go back. I guess I have to. He basically his thing was he wanted him to fight the fucking dragon, and he never fights the dragon.
There's no dragon.
Well, then you probably need to go back and watch. I think it's the first Batman Beyond or the last Fat Man on Batman, but they talk about it, and you
never see the dragon. You never see the dragon.
No, you don't. That's the point. That's what I'm saying. Bernardin wanted you to see that, but they reference this dragon that you never see.
Yeah,
a lot.
At the same time, I'll tell you one of the great parts of season 2.
Yeah,
he has to fight the antagonist, who is basically his brother from Kunlun, the mystical city.
I think I heard that, yeah.
So his name is Davos, and they were childhood friends. They helped each other when they were training, and then it was ultimately brought down to the fact that they had to fight until one of them yields or dies in order to decide who goes to face the dragon to become the immortal Iron Fist.
Okay.
And the whole thing is Davos has been raised thinking this is his birthright. And then this kid, Danny Rand, just this white foreigner outcast, is the one who's chosen.
Okay, but wait a minute. That basically sounds like a version of Black Panther.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's Marvel. Marvel copies Marvel a lot.
No, I get that, but that's the thing,
It'd be if Killmonger and T'Challa were best friends in the beginning.
Right, but Jessica Jones doesn't feel like anything else. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing that feels like Jessica Jones or vice versa. Same thing with Daredevil. There's nothing that feels like Daredevil, like the story.
No, that's probably why they're the most popular ones. If we're really being honest.
And even Punisher. Punisher, we haven't even touched on that yet. And quite honestly, I think we've given Iron Fist more love than it deserves at this point.
All right, let me just give you the ending.
Yeah, please.
Okay. The ending is Colleen Wing. So Davos steals the power of the Iron Fist from Danny.
Okay.
Like, they capture Danny, they drug him up, they do this whole mystical fucking thing where, like, they bleed him and then transfer the power. So now Davos has a red Iron Fist, whereas Danny Rand has an orange,
yellowish, goldish thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So so Colleen Wing and Danny Rand take it back from him, but Danny Rand says, I am not good enough to take on the mantle of the Iron Fist. It should be you, Colleen Wing. Colleen, you should be the one to. So she becomes the Iron Fist, and her glowing fist thing is white.
Okay.
And she gets like a tattoo around her arm and everything. It's actually like that was she's got one of the best character developments I've ever seen on the Marvel shows. It's like, holy shit, I'm so happy she's the Iron Fist, because if I have to listen to Danny Rand say I'm the immortal Iron Fist one more fucking time, I will throw my TV at the fucking window. So Danny Rand goes off to go to Asia to like go on a fucking like self-help expedition. He brings his friend, I'm blanking on his dude. One of the board member, the douchey like board member dude who was like his friend when he was a kid. Because there's two of them, there's a brother and a sister. He takes the brother who goes on his own crazy fucking journey throughout the season. Season 2 gives a lot of amazing character development. That's the best thing I can say about it.
Okay.
So it ends with the friend in a bar in fucking Japan, I think, or China. I don't remember. So, it might have been Tokyo. And he's trying to find out information from like a gang member at a bar. And then the gang member says, oh, well, I'm not going to tell you this shit. Points to his henchman, who is this huge fucking guy, and just stands up and posing like stands up. The camera kind of pans and goes, oh shit, this guy's really fucking tall. And then the boardroom friend, God, what's his name? Fuck. Ward. That's his fucking name. Ward, which is fuck that name. Says, okay, well, if you have to deal with me, you have to deal with this guy. Points to Danny Rand, who's sitting at the table, sort of in the back of the room. He stands up. Now, remember I said he transferred the power of the Iron Fist to Colleen. So theoretically, he should have no fucking power. Both of his hands glow orange. He pulls out two guns, which glow orange. The henchman shoots at him. Danny Rand shoots two bullets, and they connect and stop the other guy's bullet in midair. And then it ends. And you're like, wait, what? What the fucking fuck? Why does Danny Rand have the power? Why is it in two fucking hands? Why is he using guns? Because that's really not like character savvy.
Right.
That's like Batman or Spider-Man using a gun. It's just like, what the fuck? And then why, of all the ways to fucking end it, are you going to make it the most interesting fucking, like, ending ever? Yeah. And then it ends. And then, like, oh, season 3, never going to happen. So, I mean, I really hope they do a Friends for Hire, because, oh boy, that's how it ends. Like, it's the most what the fuck show ending I've ever seen.
Yeah,
except for Dexter.
Yeah, I haven't watched that either. But I got to tell you, man, like, I'm sticking to my 4 of the 6. Like, I'm kind of glad the 2 got canceled. Like, the only thing that's disappointing about Luke Cage getting disappointed is I think Marvel really missed the boat. They had a real opportunity on something that they lost. Because coming off of Black Panther, even though the first season of Luke Cage came out before that, right, and the movement that Black Panther caused, like, they really could have pushed that a lot harder than they did. And I think they could have kept that momentum that they got from Black Panther, But that's their loss. I mean, I hate to say that, but that's That's the only thing that they really kind of misfired on. And it's probably because the two worlds don't talk to each other. That's the biggest problem with all these shows, Marvel and DC. I'm not even going to pick on one company. Like, they need to blend these two worlds together, and we've talked about that before. So I'm not.
You mean Marvel and Netflix? You mean Disney and Netflix?
No. I'm saying both DC and Marvel are doing this wrong. I'm not saying that they should cross over, but I'm saying both these companies are doing it. Like Grant Gustin should be the fucking Flash. Ezra Miller was terrible. You know what I mean? In the same way,
I'm still making one.
Yeah, I know. And in the same way, like, if you want Daredevil on movies, you should have fucking Charlie Cox. I think that's his name.
Yeah.
Show up and be in there. You know, like, or there's no reason why Spider-Man can't show up in Hell's Kitchen. You know,
right.
Or when they're doing or like Daredevil couldn't have made like a quick appearance in Homecoming. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying like, well, and maybe from a timing perspective, maybe he was already destroyed or flattened by the building, so maybe he couldn't. But you get my point. Like, there's no reason they can't have these things cross over. They don't have to be like permanent things, but
at least throw in Foggy Nelson. Like, say Aunt May is like getting evicted from her apartment,
and Foggy's
something. Give them a lawyer, for fuck's sake.
Can I spoil one little thing for you that will not destroy the season for you at all?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
It really. I respect that, but it really wouldn't. Like, you'd still have to see how it gets there, but no worries.
All right. Go ahead.
No, Nelson and Murdoch reform.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll probably still cry.
So it's actually like a really happy moment. It really is.
No, like, I know. I mean, like happy tears. Like happy tears.
Yeah, but it's weird. It's in the best possible way, but it's weird. Like, dude,
I gotta throw out one little thing.
Yeah.
Where Foggy fucking like confronts Matt about being Daredevil, and Matt is just like on his couch and just like beating the shit and can't even defend himself. He's just like, yeah. And then that moment, oh God, it's so heartbreaking, where he's just like, well then, I need to not be your friend. I can't trust you. And you just see Charlie Cox does it so well.
He's so good.
Where he's just
so good.
Where he scrunches up his face, where he's just holding back tears because it's the last thing, even though he knows it's coming, he just to hear the words, I'm not going to be your friend or I'm out of your life, breaks my fucking heart. And the only thing I could rival it is I haven't seen the episode, but it looks like that meme where fucking Jace Vanderbeek from Dawson's Creek, which shows them all crying and shit. You know what I'm talking about? That meme?
I think so. Yeah.
Where it's like 90s kid feels or some shit, where you just like, want to connect to the internet, have to wait 30 minutes, and he's just like all crying and shit. That's the face Charlie Cox makes. It's just so. I mean, that is. Because a lot of actors fall in this fucking realm of when they're being emotional or they're trying to cry, they do that heavy breathing. But like the fucking Charlie Cox just did it in one facial movement, and it broke my fucking heart. Because we've all been in situations where friendships don't last, and you really want that shit. Because the friendship between Foggy and Matt is, I mean, If I can emphasize for 1 second.
Sure.
Watching all the episodes of Daredevil and all the shows that Marvel and Netflix have given us, my all-time favorite character is Foggy Nelson.
Well, then you're going to love season 3 because he's all over that episode. Oh, yeah. There's so much Foggy, and I mean that in the best possible way because he's really good. I agree with you. But there's a ton of Foggy Nelson in this episode, in this season.
A foggy day in Marvel Town. Oh, man.
You know who he is, right? Do you remember what he was in, like where he got his start? That guy, that actor?
He was in, yeah, I do. He was in two things that I recognize him from. He was in Butterfly Effect.
Okay, I saw him that once, so I don't remember that he was in it, but I'm not going to argue that fact. Yeah.
And he was also in that piece of shit prequel for Dumb and Dumber.
There's something else he's in, even more important, I think.
What?
He's in the Mighty Ducks. He's the big enforcer guy that's got the 8 million mile an hour power shot. That's Foggy.
Oh my fuck.
Yeah, that's Foggy.
Well, if you want to see him do some really great acting, watch Butterfly Effect.
I've seen it. I saw it once.
He plays the kid he's the fat kid when they're little, and then he grows up. He's not the other fat guy. He's not Ethan Suplee. The guy who plays Willem and.
No, I know who Ethan Suplee is. Yeah, I know who he is. No, but he's the kid from Mighty Ducks, the big thug kid that can the 1 out of 10 coach. Remember that?
That's
Foggy.
Yeah. No shit. So what I related to him the most because, and I've talked about this many times, I definitely had a lot of low self-esteem. And in part, and it's not my friend's fault, it's my friend has a lot of the qualities of being a tall, good-looking guy. He's the silent and really mysterious guy. And I have to be Michael. Yeah, I have to be the short, chubby fucking friend who's always has to be funny. And it was sort of, I love Michael, and Michael's a brother to me, but there was a lot of time where I felt like I was in his shadow, to the point where people would tell Michael, Michael, you should be in movies. You're so good looking. I'm like, fuck you. I'm the one who wants to be an actor. Right. It's bullshit.
Right.
And I understand Foggy's point of view, because Foggy is jealous of how good looking Matt Murdock is. He uses it to his benefit. He uses the fact that he's blind as a way of getting girls. He uses it as a way of using his heightened senses to, look impressive. Like, oh, you're going to turn down a law firm with a blind lawyer? Good job. But he really is my hero of the Marvel shows.
I can respect that.
Because he made the most impossible choice, which was to turn down a friend. That is one of the hardest things.
Oh, totally. Ever. Totally. And I will give him credit because, Eldon Henson is his name, by the way, just for the give him credit where it's due. He is hands down a better Foggy Nelson than Jon Favreau ever was. And I like Jon Favreau. I like Jon Favreau. I'm a big Jon Favreau fan. But he's a much better Foggy Nelson than... Actually, he doesn't even go by Foggy in the movie. He goes by Franklin, his real name, which does get referenced in this season.
Well, he calls... You're talking about were you talking about the Favreau one where...
Yeah, Favreau only ever goes by Franklin. He doesn't go by Foggy. I don't think he ever calls him Foggy in the movie.
I thought Matt Murdock calls him Foggy at one point.
I'll have to go back and... You're talking about the movie? You're about Affleck?
Yeah.
I have to watch it again, so you might, but I don't think he does. But you might be right. That's not the point. The point is that, I feel like... I feel like A, Eldon played the role better, and B, I feel like they did more justice to the character by far.
They could also flesh out the character. They could also stretch it out.
And so the last thing I'll tell you about season 3, and this is not a spoiler in any way whatsoever, is you get some backstory on Karen. You get a nice chunk of backstory on Karen Page, which is kind of good.
Which I like what they're doing, what they did with the character, and I love the actress who plays her,
Deborah Wall.
Yeah. Is it
Deborah Ann Wall?
Or
Deborah Ann Wall. Wool. I don't know how you say it. Woll is her name.
Dude, I loved her in True Blood. She was definitely an amazing.
Yeah, I didn't watch that, so I didn't.
Dude, she is great. The whole show is great for the most part, but she, just give True Blood a chance. All right, so let's move on to Punisher.
Yeah, so Punisher. There's not a lot to say, but there is a lot to say, if that makes sense. Punisher's straightforward. You killed my family, I'm going to fuck you up. That's bottom line what the Punisher is, always has been. That's the character, and
100% revenge show. That's all it is.
Right, and ultimately he goes off to do other things, but the origin and the base of the Punisher... just to get off the show for a minute, I like the Thomas Jane one, the one with John Travolta. I know a lot of people shit on that movie, and I'm not telling you it's great, but I like that movie a lot.
I love that one. Michael and we watched that fucking movie so much that he had on VHS, and the VHS was faltering and kind of fucking up, where we had watched it so many times that with the sound quality fucked up on the tape, we could predict it with the music. The music is very high pitched, nah, 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 and then in the tape we go, nah, nah, and we could be nah, 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 and we knew what was coming. But I'm right there with you, man. In terms of the 3 Punisher movies that came out, because there was one in '89, with Dolph Lundgren, which was fucking bizarre to watch because it was Dolph Lundgren without the skull logo. I loved that fucking movie, but because it's really the best of the 3 Punisher films, because there was 3.
Right.
There's that.
Right. Go ahead.
There's that one, and then there was one 89 one with Dolph Lundgren.
Yep. I never saw it, but I heard it was terrible.
It is pretty fucking terrible. And the main reason why it's fucking terrible is because he doesn't have a skull emblem.
Okay.
He drives a motorcycle.
Okay. Well, the motorcycle's not a thing. I mean, that's okay, I guess, but
he's pretty known for using a car. He's usually, that's pretty standard. But
yeah, but they got Ghost Rider using a car now. The latest incarnation of Ghost Rider rides around in like a 77 Charger, I think.
Well, whatever. I'm just saying. But he also doesn't have the he's a New York cop.
Wait, was it Lundgren or was that the David Hasselhoff? No, Hasselhoff was Nick Fury, wasn't he?
Yeah, Hasselhoff was Fury.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So that, it was just a, you can obviously see.
How was Warzone or War Journal or whatever it was? How was that? I don't think I saw that.
Warzone was fine. It was more comic booky than the Tom and Jane one.
Okay.
Comic booky in the sense that it has like the villain is the same villain from the season of Punisher. It's Billy the Beaut. It's Jigsaw.
Okay.
Remember how he tears his fucking face up at the end?
Yeah.
So in the Warzone one, his face is fucked up, and they actually put horse hide in with his face. So it's like the same type of comic book feeling with Jack Nicholson's Joker.
Okay.
When he gets the stitching and the prosthetic.
Yeah.
It's not all like Heath Ledger's. It's comic booky. And also Newman from Seinfeld plays his weapons handler. Ray Stevenson, who went on to play one of the fucking Vikings in Thor, Volkstag or some shit.
Okay.
He's one of the Warriors 3. He's the fat one, the fat bearded one.
Right.
So he plays the Punisher in Warzone.
Okay. Well, I don't want to. I mean, the only bad thing about the Thomas Jane one for me is I was not a fan of Travolta as the enemy, but I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't. In terms of Travolta roles, he's really good in that. Yeah, his best role is still hands down Jules, or not Jules, but Vincent, thank you. Yeah. But anyway, as far as the show goes, I love that character. I got to be honest with you. When they first announced the guy, John Bernthal, I wasn't familiar with him at all. Just didn't know who he was. Wasn't familiar with him. Whatever. And when I first got a look at him, I was kind of skeptical. I'm going to be honest with you. I was just from a visual perspective, that alone. Although he does have some Frank Castle qualities about him, so it wasn't completely oh my god, no. But I did have some concerns, and I'll tell you, the minute he started, nope, they all went out the window. He killed that character. He buried himself in that character.
He deserves so much praise because he really did his homework. When it was announced, because he's on The Walking Dead.
Okay.
He plays Shane, who is he's the antagonist of season 2. Spoiler for those who haven't started Walking Dead. But he starts out as the best friend, pseudo brother of Rick Grimes, the central figure. And I don't need to go through too much Shane, but Shane becomes a fucking major there's no other way of describing it. He's like a soldier, and the war of zombies is his war because he's going through trauma and PTSD, and he becomes jealous because Rick Grimes is presumed dead in the beginning of the first season. Yeah. And so he has sort of moved on, and he's become the protector of Rick's wife and their son. And in doing that has been fucking his best friend's wife.
Okay.
And then Rick comes back, takes over the leadership. So now, Shane is kind of like, oh, well, I was a leader. I've been begging your wife. I've been a father to your kid. Now I guess I have to be second fiddle. So you see, and John Bernthal does the role so damn good, where he conveys jealousy, he conveys rage, but he still is kind of like, hey, brother, I'm really happy to have you back. We all lost you. We all missed you. We're happy to have you back. Deep down, he's just like, I was king. Now I have to give up my mantle.
And you get a lot of that double fold thing in The Punisher where he's this cold, I don't give a fuck about anybody, but he does care. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he wants to be alone because he doesn't want any casualties around him, but he also is lonely because the central figure of Frank Castle is that he is a martyr.
Right.
He's dead without being dead.
Right, but at the same time, the way he looks after Micro's family, do you know what I mean? And that character is not a character I was familiar with at all. And that's who I said Wayne Knight plays in. I forgot the name, but Micro. Okay, yeah, that character in this show in the Netflix show is ridiculous. I mean that in a good way. I liked him. I'm not familiar with the character, so I don't have anything to hold it against, but I thought it was awesome.
It was definitely a different interpretation of the character. But what I loved about the Punisher show, including his stint in Daredevil, is that they kept all the classic things, but modernized it.
Yes.
They made him a soldier above all, which he really is. I mean, he is in the comics, but he's also not. He's really an agent, or he's like Black Ops or some shit, but not like Afghan PTSD.
Right.
Which was a really relatable. We talked about PTSD for Jessica Jones. This is the male equivalent.
Oh, totally.
Of PTSD.
Yeah.
Punisher is just really the aggressive male macho, aggro bullshit that Jessica Jones has.
Yeah.
Where it's just Jessica Jones is I was a victim. Where and I'm also a woman. I have to come to terms with being raped. Whereas Punisher is I already had my demons, and then I came home, and then my tragedy started. I was already battling PTSD when I came home from the war, and then my life was ruined when I was trying to get it back.
And it's funny because when they had him in the show in Daredevil, I liked him, I did, but I was also very skeptical about when I heard they were giving him his own series because he was really kind of one-dimensional in the Daredevil. Do you know what I mean? As I think he needed to be. I'm not, looking hindsight being 2020, I think he had to be. But I was concerned about him doing that on his own. And then I got to be honest with you, man, that trailer with Metallica, I was hooked.
Mm-hmm. Well, if we're being honest, he really was the antagonist of season 2.
For Daredevil?
For Daredevil.
Yeah, but but like a backhanded antagonist, if you will.
He was an antagonist who became an anti-hero.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah,
because who's the fucking antagonist of Daredevil season 2?
Well, the Hand.
See, that's what I'm saying. So you need a big bad. It can't just be a corporation.
Was it Stick?
No, it was the Punisher.
Or Elektra, even, really.
I see. I'm even to the point where all the promo pictures and posters was all the characters in the shape of the Punisher logo.
Yeah, the Punisher.
I'm with you, dude. I am and was a huge Punisher fan to the point where I had a Punisher shirt, and it doesn't fit anymore.
I still have one. All right, real quick backstory on me. When Deb and I first met, I was wearing my Punisher t-shirt. And it was the fact that because we weren't going on a date. It wasn't a planned date. We were in a setting where we just were in the same area, but we weren't going on a date. And
it was a meet cute?
Kind of. It's hard to explain. But anyway, or it's not hard, but it's not worth getting into. The point is, it wasn't a date. Like, I wasn't going on a date wearing a Punisher t-shirt. We were just kind of in the same area together. And what made her want to talk to me and keep talking to me was the fact that I was wearing my Punisher t-shirt. Like, that drew her to me.
Did she know the character?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't as familiar with him as I am now because of this show, but yeah, I knew him.
No. Did she know the character? Did she like you because she's a fit?
Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
Did you punish her?
It wasn't, and for her, it wasn't the Punisher per se. Like, she knew the character, but she could tell that I was just in that realm, the comic books and that whole thing, and that's really,
You were geeky, but you weren't like wearing a fucking flasher. Like, you were geeky, but I'm dark. I like the dark heroes.
Yeah, I guess that was it. The next time she saw me, I think it still wasn't a date. I was wearing my Flash shirt. But anyway, that's another story.
But I'm saying, like, that'd be the equivalent of you wearing, like, a Crow shirt or something like that.
Which I actually think I'm going to watch when we go to bed. I'm kind of gotten in the mood to watch that now based on our conversation for some reason. Anyway.
What the fuck?
I don't know. Anyway, so... I think it's just because it's so close to Halloween too, but it's just that time of year. What?
I didn't say anything.
You gave me a weird look.
No, I'm looking at Dino. Dino's like nuzzling up against me.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, the show was great, dude. I don't know when season 2 is coming, and that's my only thing with season 2. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, I don't know how they're gonna.
It's gonna be Jigsaw. It's going to be Billy the Beaut, all fucked up and scarred up. And
going that way, yeah. Okay.
But here's the thing.
But that's 2 seasons in a row of the same villain.
Well, they brought back Kingpin.
Yeah, but there was a gap. I mean, Kingpin shows up in season 2, but not like he does in this one, and not like he did in the first one.
Right, but when he did show up in season 2... That was amazing. That part where he fucking like strangles Murdoch in the prison.
Yeah, that's true.
That was, I mean, we started this up.
Doesn't he fight the Punisher at some point too? I thought he fights.
I think
Castle.
No, I think the Punisher. Well, I think he has an intense scene where he's like lifting weights and shit. But the Punisher goes through a whole fucking hallway. He has his own hallway fight scene.
Yeah, it's not as good. It's not as good as that Daredevil one from season 1. That hallway fight scene might be one of the best fight scenes I've ever seen ever.
That is easily one of the best uncut. Like, it's like if Scorsese filmed a fucking fight scene. So amazing.
Kevin Smith has said he's gone back and literally just rewound that scene like 4 or 5 times in a row. Just watch that scene.
I got to give credit to the season 2 hallway scene for Daredevil because there's one for him too. Or is it Defenders? It's one of the two.
I think it's Defenders. Where it's all 4 of them? Yeah, I think it's the Defenders you're thinking of.
But there's one where Daredevil like attaches like he tapes shit to his hands or some shit, or he's got like you know what I'm talking about? Like he's got like a.
I think that's the Defenders. I'm pretty certain that's the Defenders.
Pretty good too.
It was, but that first one because it's such a dark scene too in the first season. Like the Defenders one's a little more. And when I say dark, I mean lighting. Like in the Defenders, it's in I think it's in the Rand Corporation building. Or
and all the lights are all fucked up, and it's got like the security lights were all like red or some shit.
In the Defenders?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little more lit up. Where the best part of the Defenders, the best scene in Defenders, and it's not a fight scene, is them in the Chinese food restaurant sitting around that table talking. And I know normally talking scenes are bad, but that one was really good.
I disagree. I'm a huge fan of a good talking scene. I love dialogue.
I am too, but I'm saying I know they're generally viewed as bad scenes, like the boardroom scenes in Iron Fist. But like I'm saying, in that one, it's amazing.
I will say one of the highlights of the Defenders is when Iron Fist fucking punches Luke Cage in the face. And you can tell it's the first time Luke Cage has been punched in the face in a very long time.
Yeah.
There's a part where in the first, I want to say the first episode of Luke Cage, or even it might have been when he showed up in Jessica Jones, because Luke Cage shows up in
he does.
First season of Jessica Jones. someone punches him in the face, and it's slow mo, and you just see the hand just break and just get like distorted, and that you could obviously tell that Luke Cage had never been punched in the face for a long time, and so whatever it was, if it was Jessica Jones or Defenders or whatever, it wasn't Defenders, but it was either Luke Cage or Jessica Jones. He gets punched in the fucking face, and it's slow mo where a guy's hand just
shatters,
turns into dust inside, and then they recreate the same scene where Iron Fist punches him, and then you see the slow motion where like Luke Cage's face, it's like like all fucked up. And you could tell that was like a rude awakening for Luke. So that was a highlight of the Defenders. But back to the Punisher, dude. The prison fight scene where he just annihilates like 20 fucking dudes.
Yeah, and he's wearing that white jumpsuit, so by the time it's over, he's like covered in blood.
Yeah, but did you notice the blood on his chest?
It almost makes his skull. Yeah,
it's the skull. Yeah. So it was the first. That was more or less the first incarnation of the skull.
And then go ahead.
I love the fact that like his skull emblem is a X-ray of his own skull.
Is it? I don't remember that.
I'm pretty. It was. He found because wasn't he shot in the fucking head or some shit?
No, I'm looking at a picture of it. It's definitely a painted skull.
It's a painted skull, but he goes into his like fucking weapons barracks or some shit, and then he like gets the there's an X-ray photo of the skull, and then he like makes the design based on that. It's like his own skull or some shit.
There's him in the thing with the skull, not the prison scene, but
but there's a thing where it's like an X-ray, and that's sort of the beginning. I mean, dude, one of the things I wish they had kept was he has a beard in the first couple episodes of the Punisher show.
Yes, he does.
And he immediately shaves it. And I'm like, motherfucker, you're in hiding. A beard would help you stay in hiding. Once he shaves it, everyone's like, oh, it's fucking what's this fuck? It's Frank Castle.
And that's one of the things I loved about the first couple episodes. Like, he's trying to just live a normal life, and he's working at that construction site, remember? And he's just breaking the wall down with the sledgehammer, and that's all he does all day is break that wall down.
Yeah, that's him. But that's also a metaphor of him breaking the walls that are surrounding him.
Oh, yeah, totally. But I'm just saying, like, that was, you know... I gotta rewatch it. I only watched the season one time. I gotta rewatch season 2 of Daredevil. That's my next question: is should I rewatch Defenders before I watch season 3? No, you remember what happens at the end of Defenders. We talked about it. You were talking about it earlier. If you remember that, you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just not. All right. It's not important. The only thing I'll say about Punisher, the last thing I'll say is like. And I'm still not sure how I feel about it. Like, I like it, but I don't like it. But he gets fucked up a lot in that show. Like, he gets fucked up a lot.
Almost to the point where he shouldn't be walking. He should have died.
Like 3 times.
For just being a man with some amazing training, he should have died a while back.
Right. I mean, he's got some people that help him, but still, like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm not that's really the only like complaint that I have. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's pretty spotless. So
one of the things that Michael and I love when we were watching it is that he does this roar.
Yes.
Where like towards the end, when he is like, remember he's handcuffed to the chair or some shit, and Billy shoots the handcuff or whatever and lets him go free, and then he fucks up that dude who was torturing him, and then he knocks him down, and he's got his little fucking shiv, or it's a knife or whatever the fuck,
right,
or a razor, whatever the fuck it is, and he does 2 motions. He roars, which is I think his like his berserker mode, where
you beat me to it. I wasn't going to use the word berserker, but that's basically it. That's when you know the shit's going to go down. When that roar comes out, you're dead.
It's like, it's rage mode. It's like whenever you play a video game and you get that like rage mode, it's like everything's red and you're unlimited health for a minute. And you're just like, that's what he does.
Yep. That's exactly it. You're absolutely right. And that's when he goes ape shit and just fucks everybody up. Yeah.
But he does this movement where he stabs the guy normal, like 1, 2, 3, and then in the middle of it, he goes, like stabs him really quick, like,
yeah.
I love that. That is all Bernthal. That's like 1, 2, 3, fuck you, 6, 7, 8. Like, holy shit. Where'd you get that burst of energy, dude?
Yeah.
And then he fucking sticks his thumbs in the guy's eyes.
Yes, he does. Yep.
And you're watching this shit. You're like, this is Disney. What the fuck?
Well, I mean, it's the most graphic of all of the series. Would you think? Apart from that sex scene with fucking Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, it is the most. I know, but graphic. I mean, there's sex graphic and then there's violence graphic. Well, I meant violent graphic, but yeah.
Oh, dude.
Although, look, and this, there's not as much violence in Daredevil season 3, but it's on par with Punisher in terms of the graphicness of it. Daredevil went darker. If that was possible, it went darker in the best possible way. It already
started out dark.
That's what I'm saying, and it gets darker. This season, you could watch season 1, watch Daredevil, watch season 3, watch season 1 Daredevils, watch Defenders, and watch season 3, and never watch season 2, and the only thing you'd be confused about is where the Punisher fits in.
Right.
Because that's really how it boils down. You know? Like it... Oh, so good. Sorry, I wanted more. I got 13 episodes and I wanted more. Well, anyway, so like I said, it's dark, man. It's just if you get the chance, shit. Anyway, let's move on because
it'll happen. Don't worry.
I'm sure there is.
I need to see first. I need to watch Halloween. You need to watch Halloween. We got.
I just guarantee you I'm going to get some what the fuck texts as you go through it. I'm pretty certain I'm going to get a couple of those. Like, they're probably not mind-blowing what the fuck, but they're just like, you know, like holy shit kind of things. You know what I mean? Yeah. Nothing too crazy. Anyway, there's some Marvel movie stuff we should talk about since we're on Marvel anyway. We've been through the movie, so we're not going to beat that to death. But let's start with the fact that because we were talking about the roundtable earlier, Black Widow's finally getting her own solo movie. She's getting her own movie, finally. Which, in my opinion, is like 5 years too late. But I'm not saying they shouldn't do it, but they should have done it 5 years ago.
Agreed.
Like right around the time of the first Avengers, like after first Avengers is probably the window in which they should have done it. Because that scene in Avengers when she's talking to the Russians and Coulson calls her to bring her in to go get the Hulk. Banner. And she goes, I'm in the middle of an interrogation. This guy's giving me everything I want. And they like laugh at her. And he says, well, you know.
She's like, I'm working.
Right. But then she says, flat out says in front of them, these guys, I'm in the middle of an interrogation. These guys are giving me everything I need. And they laugh at her. And then he goes, Barton's compromised. She goes, hold on. Drops the phone and kicks the shit out of them from a chair.
Yeah.
You know, like that needed to be done. You know, like they needed to do. Real quick, what did you think of her as a blonde in Infinity War? I don't think we talked about that.
I mean, the only thing I can think about it that makes sense is that she's in hiding, and a hot redhead is always kind of sticks out.
True.
But
okay, because Deb didn't like it.
It's just, I wasn't overly fond of it, but you know, I just kind of said, all right. Well,
I mean, it's not the end of the world. I was just curious. But anyway, she's finally getting it.
For that character, I would have made her black-haired.
Yeah, and so we talk on this show quite a bit about we've had enough about origin stories. We don't need more origin story movies, and we refer to that mainly when it comes to characters we know the origins on: Spider-Man, Batman, you know, to a lesser degree, Superman. We don't need another origin movie.
Right.
I kind of want this to be an origin movie. Like, if they don't do it, I'm not going to be mad, but I kind of want that. Because when they touched on it a little bit in Age of Ultron, it really intrigued me. Like, I'd like to see more of that.
I have a feeling they might be reluctant of doing that because of that movie Red Sparrow that came out, because it's very similar.
True.
I think they'll probably keep to the flashback form. I don't think it'll be a prequel. What I really am more curious to see is What if it shows her first mission in flashback of her in Budapest with Hawkeye? What if that's their first mission?
Yeah, that'd be, even if it's not the first mission, just to center around that, because they talk about that a couple times in different parts of movies. Like, it comes up in Civil War, it comes up in the first Avengers movie. Like, they've talked about that a couple times, that Budapest mission.
Well, no, it only comes up in Avengers, but they do talk about, like, we're still friends, right? It's war, but Budapest only comes up once in Avengers.
I thought it came up in Civil War, too.
No, just once. And she's like, he's like, this is just like Budapest. Like, you and I remember Budapest very differently. Where, I mean, to be fair, it's not going to be it probably will not be a superhero movie in the sense it'll have, like, a big bad superhero, super villain. Yeah. It'll probably be that. It'll probably be the equivalent of, like, an espionage movie.
It's a spy
without
movie.
A big bad. It's a spy movie. It's not going to be. There's not going to be a big villain. It's not going to be this. But you could probably have a little bit of flashback, and you could. I mean, it brings to the next question: is should Hawkeye have his own solo film? Because you could combine the two characters into one movie.
Well, and maybe they do that and we just don't know it. Because that would be something Marvel would do.
It would be something they would do, and I know there's a lot of Hawkeye fans, which I mean, hey, I'm a fan of anybody being a fan of anything geeky, but Hawkeye was never my. I mean, especially the first Avengers, he's just so.
He's really dismissible in that movie. I hate to say it, but he really kind of is.
He's great in Age of Ultron. He redeems himself in Age of Ultron,
totally.
Especially with his wife and kids.
And that scene with Wanda in the building when he's like, we're fighting these robots and I've got a bow and arrow. Like, I know I'm butchering the speech, but you know what I'm talking about? Like, that scene was awesome. I'd be okay with. Let me ask you something. We've talked about the character before when we were talking Deadpool, and I don't think I asked you this, and I should have. Because you said in the comic he's deaf.
Yeah.
Are you okay with the fact that he's not in the movies? Does that matter?
I think it's fine in the beginning of him not being deaf. I think they should make him deaf.
You think at some point he should lose his hearing?
I think there should be a giant fucking explosion that fucks up his hearing. You know, they could still give him a hearing aid for him to talk, but there needs to be some tragedy for the character. The only tragedy I can think of is that he doesn't get snapped, but his family does, and it happens in front of him.
Right. What if he got snapped and something in the comeback causes him to lose his hearing?
Then that muddles the whole thing, because then you'd have to add other characters. Other characters might have fuck ups as well. I think you just go plain and simple, big fucking boom. Maybe Thanos, smacks him on either side of his ears.
Yeah.
And that causes his eardrums to burst or some shit.
Yeah.
Have him scream in agony and then have Black Widow run over and help him and have him be out of commission. And then at the end of him, it's him deal with the fact that he can't hear, and he relies on his hearing, all of his senses. But that might, I don't know. I think for character's sake, they have a lot to explore with having a deaf character, because Hawkeye is like a hero to the deaf community.
Sure. Sure.
Which, it doesn't matter what disability you have. If you have a disability, there is a Marvel character you can lapse onto.
Yeah, well, just like Daredevil for the blind community.
For the blind, and which I love the fact, to not go back to Daredevil too much, but I love the fact that it's the first show where they give a description, like an audio description as you watch it for blind people. It explains what's happening, so you don't miss anything. And Daredevil was very conscious of doing that. And to the point, the woman who plays Karen, her boyfriend has a disease where he's losing his eyesight.
Yeah.
So she's really like a huge part of that disease and being aware for blindness and blah, blah, blah. And she invited, because he's a massive Daredevil fan. So when she got the role, he explained everything to her, all about who Karen is. And he gave her all his comics, and he showed up at the premiere as Daredevil.
Oh,
like,
awesome.
He was just like, that's such a fucking sweet thing. Just like,
it is.
Hey, baby, you're coming to the premiere with me. He's like, I'm going to dress as Daredevil. She's like, yeah, but you can wear a suit. And he's like, fuck that. I'm going as Daredevil.
Yeah. That is awesome.
That's such a geek thing, and she's a star, and he's a nobody. He's not an actor. Yeah. He's just an average Joe. Just lucked the fuck out.
Ooh, yes, he did.
Too bad he can't see her.
Well, we see plenty this season. Anyway.
Oh,
really? More than you have in the past. We'll put it that way. Let's not get too crazy about it. Right. In any event, going back to the Black Widow thing, the big news coming out of that is not that she's getting the movie, although that is important, is that she's making $15 million for this movie, which, to put in perspective, it's not, because it's the same amount that Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth made for both their movies.
For their first films?
No, Thor: The Dark World and Winter Soldier, I believe.
That's just what I'm saying. It seems a little low. Scarlett Johansson already had star power before she joined the Avengers. It just seems a little low, especially since fucking Downey got $40 million or some shit.
Hold on, I'm looking up right now because maybe I misheard.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, first off, good for her for getting her own solo movie.
No,
again,
15.
It's
1.5. 15, okay. 1.5.
But what did she get for Avengers? What'd she get for Infinity War? If it says it.
I'm looking to see if it says that, but go ahead for a minute while.
I mean, again, good for her for getting her own solo film. It was definitely 5 years too late. They should have made it right after Age of Ultron, right after they did that whole little flashback, like her as a ballerina and some shit. Because that's when we're like, ooh, that's interesting. It should have been before Red Sparrow, just so you could cancel out Red Sparrow. Yep. Be like, fuck you, Red Sparrow. We don't need you now. It kind of feels like they're just kind of riding the coattails of Wonder Woman, which kind of is how I feel about Captain Marvel. I mean, we talked about it a couple episodes back, but Captain Marvel, the trailer, which is really underperforming, especially since Brie Larson was like tweeting about like, hey, ready to break the internet. And you're like, you didn't break shit. You didn't even break my concentration. Like, I mean, that's okay. I take that back. They did break my concentration. I was kind of like, all right, I'm not really into it. I'm glad it's being fucking made, but I liked it more than a lot of people. A lot of people were bitching about how Brie Larson has about as emotion as C-3PO, but I mean, physically, not emotional, not verbally, because C-3PO is all verbal emotion. But that's specifically. I think they could do a Black Widow movie, but I think it really should be a Widow Hawkeye team up movie. I think it should be a buddy cop kind of film. It should be the fact that it shows flashbacks of her being a villainess and him saving her, and like his when they meet, his whole thing was he was sent to kill her, and then he chose not to, and redeems her and brings her to S.H.I.E.L.D., and then she switches sides. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to change the subject, but I have some info here on the numbers. So I'm finding some conflicting stuff. I found one report where it says she's making 25, but that's only a report that's saying that. So I don't know that I buy that one. But here's what it says. It says that she's making 15. I was right. And that it's equal to what Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth made for Infinity War, and also what they got each for Captain America: Civil War and Ragnarok. And so they've made $15 million per movie over the last 2 or 3 movies they've each been in. She didn't make that. Now, she's making that right now for the next one.
You know what I bet it is?
What's that?
I bet she's getting $10 million for Infinity War Part 2, which it's probably going to be It's probably going to be Avengers Annihilation, is what the rumored title is going to be. So that'll be that 25. It'll be a combination of Avengers 4 and then Black Widow.
Well, maybe because she only. All right, so that gets to the next part of the story because I was reading it. Where did it go? Hold on, I just lost it. Shit. So Downey made 50 million, like you said. But Chadwick Boseman only made $2 million for Black Panther. Believe it or not, I don't think
$2 million.
Yeah, he only made $2 million for Black Panther. But they say he'll make a significant increase for the second one, of course. Brie Larson's only getting $5 million for Captain Marvel.
That's because she's an Oscar winner. That's why.
What's that?
That's because she's an Oscar winner. That Oscar automatically gets you minimum $5 million.
But she's only getting $5 million. That's my point. It feels low. But
I'm saying if she wasn't an Oscar winner, they'd probably pay her $1 million.
Yeah, I guess.
If they could pay her less, they would.
That's the only thing I'm seeing here, though. I got to share my screen with you for a second, but you keep talking if you have something you want to say. But the point is, she's making as much as the Chris's, and I think that's important. From an equal opportunity thing for women, I think that's a really thing that needs to be done, and I'm really kind of happy that's happening.
I'm right there with you. I'm glad she's at least getting equal fucking pay. I think she should at least get some fucking. Look, we're bitching about people that are richer than us getting more money than
we'll ever see.
Yeah, yay. Look, you and I would do really questionable things for $1 million.
I'd do some questionable things for 100,000 right about now.
Dude, I would do shit for about $1,000.
I need a little more than that, but I hear you. Anyway, look at this real quick.
Okay. Oh, the evolution of her fucking hairstyles?
That's my favorite right there from Winter Soldier.
Oh, the long one? Yeah.
And that's from that scene we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's Avengers.
And then that's Civil War. Where I would. It's funny we're talking about her because I just saw her in a movie that I've seen before, but I hadn't seen in a while, and I forgot how good she is in it. And that's Lost in Translation with Bill Murray.
I never finished it. I got so fucking bored with that movie.
It's a weird movie and it is a hard watch, but it to me falls in that conversation we had about dialogue earlier because to me it's a dialogue-driven movie. There's a lot of things that go on, but it's really about the dialogue and the interaction between those two characters.
I think it's just most likely that I'm just not I never jumped that Bill Murray train.
Oh, I'm not that either. I just think it's a good movie. I just really enjoy that movie and that interaction with those two.
I should give it a shot.
I recommend it.
To Black Panther hair, I loved, and I say loved her fucking hair in Iron Man 2 when she's first introduced. Yeah,
I hear you, but give me the other one. Give me Winter Soldier.
Well, I love them all except for the Avengers Infinity War one.
It wasn't that bad. It was just such a departure from everything else. It just seemed odd.
Platinum blonde, where at that point just call her White Widow.
Yeah. In the same. What? Go ahead.
Speaking of fucking insect-like superheroes,
we weren't though.
Well, Black Widow.
Well, all right. That was a bad connection, but go ahead.
We got to talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, we do, and we don't need to go through the whole movie because, all right, comparatively speaking, meh, it was okay.
Now, hold on. Stephanie has not seen it, so Stephanie,
spoilers.
Just stop the episode right now because we're this is probably gonna be the tail end of the episode. So
yeah,
and let's save Ant-Man and the Wasp for the tail end so she can fucking listen to everything else except this.
Well, I think that's where we are. I don't think there's much else to get into. I think this is really it. We're on the home stretch.
Well, no, you said you want to talk about something about DC.
DC.
You said remind me something about DC.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was about.
God damn it, CJ.
DC. Oh, Ruby Rose is Batwoman. The pictures of her from the.
I wanted to talk about. I just thought of that 2 minutes ago, so I was going to bring that up. But
yeah,
I'm glad you already thought about it.
That was the DC thing, yeah. Because I've started watching. So all 3 of the 4 shows are back. 4th one premieres this coming Tuesday, I believe it is. Legends of Tomorrow. with Constantine, which I'm super excited about because I love Constantine, the character. I've always been a fan of that character. So
and
I'm
he's
excited
good
about that.
The actor plays him
really
great.
good. Yeah, he's really good. I didn't watch that show Constantine on CBS. I got to be honest with you when it came out, but I have been a fan of that character.
Yeah, I didn't either, but I loved him on Arrow.
Yeah, loved him on Arrow. I think he shows up on Flash for one episode too, doesn't he? I think.
I
might be wrong. Anyway,
I'm so far behind on Flash.
Oh, you need to catch up because it left turn.
It is so hard to catch up on every fucking show, man. I mean, there's some good TV out there. I'm really behind.
Well, I'm telling you right now, next year, I don't know when yet, but I'm taking off 10 days from work. I'm not going anywhere, not doing anything specific in terms of like vacation or whatever. So we might get 3 episodes in then. So just so you know, I'm gonna have a whole lot of time on my hands.
Well, you're taking off time. Yeah, all right. I'm all for it.
We got plenty of time. Anyway,
Batwoman.
Yeah. So I've only seen the still shots, but I got to tell you, man, it looks authentic. It looks good. I'm really excited about it.
I'm super excited. I love the fact that they cast a lesbian to play a lesbian character. That is
even though she took a bunch of shit online for not being a lesbian, and she was like, "What? I came out like 4 years ago, or whatever it was." Like, I might have my time wrong.
To the point where, like, she originally stems, like, I think her first acting stint is Orange is the New Black.
Right, I've heard that. I've never saw it, but yeah.
She shows up as, like, a new inmate, probably in, like, season fuck. I don't care. Where she, like, becomes a new love interest to the main character, which is easily the most boring fucking character, even though the show's centered around her originally. She becomes, like, this, like, tattooed Australian, like, I'm butch, but I'm really, like, really pretty love interest, where she's frequently referred to as Justin Bieber.
Okay.
She has, like, a weird, like, Justin Bieber look. So
but she's not as much of a cunt. That's for sure.
Well, Justin Bieber even fucking, like, obviously has a huge, massive crush on her, and I think is just not, like, getting the fact that she does not play his fucking field.
Yeah, well, he's married now anyway, but, you know.
Which is really weird to acknowledge.
Yeah, well, you know the reason why I called him a cunt was because of Babylon.
He is a cunt.
He is, but
he's a fucking cunt.
You know what I wish they still did was the Chelsea Handler Award. They don't do that anymore.
I think Ralph relented because he, like, when Trump got elected, like, she went on a whole fucking, like, tearful, like,
she did. I remember that.
Like, and I think he was just like, look, we're mortal enemies. I understand. He's like, I finally had a human connection with Chelsea Handler.
Okay, and he doesn't have to call it that, but he should still do the award. He could change the name of it or something, but I still would like to just see the award.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not the point. So here's the picture of her as Batwoman.
It looks fucking amazing.
It does. I'm really excited. I'm not as familiar with the character of Batwoman as some of the other Batman characters, but I do know enough to know that it looks accurate.
If I remember correctly, I think she's Bruce Wayne's cousin.
I don't think so.
Who am I thinking of? I mean, I thought she was his cousin.
But one of the things I heard Kevin talking about is that they apparently, because, you know, he just came back from shooting Supergirl.
Yeah.
Not too long ago. And apparently what they do have, no, according to this, Kate Kane has no relation to Bruce Wayne or Batman. She's just some woman who had motivation to become a Crusader.
All right. Well, I was wrong.
Anyway, he's got a little bit of inside info on this, and apparently Berlanti's been given full use of the Rogues Gallery.
Really?
Yeah. I think with the exception of the obvious.
The Batman Rogues Gallery?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see there's two promo things I saw for the Arrowverse? One was it shows the Supergirl Superman in the black and silver costume.
No, I haven't seen that, but I think that's going to be in that episode we're talking about.
It looks very like CW. It looks just like, okay. Like, it could have looked really. I mean, if we're all being honest, what we all wanted was to see Henry Cavill have that costume with the beard and the mullet and everything. Never got it. They filmed it. We never got it. And now this Tyler Hoechlin.
I like him as Superman, though. He does really well.
He does really well, but it looks super bland. It just doesn't look good. I mean,
I don't know that I agree. I got to be honest with you.
I'm talking about the black suit costume is what I'm talking about.
Well, hold on. I think I'm finding a picture of it now. It's just loading.
The other thing that I saw, no, there's more. So this is the other thing I was going to talk about. There is a crossover where Arrow is with the Flash and fucking Barry is the Arrow.
Yeah, and then you got Superman back there.
By the way, is that not one of the weirdest fucking things you've ever seen? Where you're just like, God damn it, Barry, what did you do this fucking time?
Right, yeah, but that's not what this is, apparently. I gotta tell you, real honestly, like, so are you seeing this suit that? Yeah. I mean, you're seeing it on Stephen Amell, but you're seeing the suit, right?
Yeah.
That's the suit the Flash wears this season.
Looks really bright.
It is. It's super bright. It's more comic Flash than it's been to this point, and dude, I kind of don't like it.
It looks really like. Did you ever watch the early '90s Flash? Like, I never watched it, but like the one where Mark Hamill.
Oh no, I never saw that. Yeah, I've never seen that.
That's what it looks like. It looks like that bright color. I mean, honestly, it looks very comic book accurate. It doesn't have any muscle definition. That's what really kind of throws me off.
That I didn't care about. I just liked when it was the darker red. I thought that was a good look for it, and
But not to the darker red where it looks like fucking Ezra Miller's Flash.
Well, it was that dark red, but it was more of a material and not like a set of armor. That's the difference between Ezra Miller's and Grant Gustin's, because like his looks like almost like Daredevil from the movie. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what Grant Gustin's looks like. Whereas,
but Ezra Miller's looks like it was made by Stark Tech. It looks that's
what I'm saying. His looks like a set of armor. Yeah. Whereas that's what I'm saying. I like the season 1, season 2 Flash suit as opposed to this one because it jumps out the ring too. It doesn't every time. It did once, and now they don't know how to get it back because they found it. They didn't. What's his face? Cisco didn't make this. They found the ring, and they popped it out of the ring, and
I
now
don't know
they
what
have
the fuck you're talking about.
So I'm trying not to spoil too much of the season, but in this season, they find the ring because, like in the comic books and in the cartoons, the Flash keeps his suit in a ring that he can pop the suit out of the ring at any time and jump into the suit. That's how he carries his suit around.
All right, well, one ring to rule them all. Did you find the fucking the black suit? You didn't find it?
No, I didn't see that. Hold on.
It exists.
Well, you had me looking up a bunch of stuff, and I got stuck. But we got off of this. We need to get into...
Wait. Supernatural star Jensen Ackles spot on Arrowverse crossover. Like, what the fuck is he playing?
Maybe they're in Supernatural's world.
Dude, what if he's playing a grown-up Robin? No, because they're doing their Titans thing. He'd be a good. He does the voice of Red Hood and Under the Red Hood, so maybe he's playing Red Hood. It's finally going to go full circle. Oh, fuck you! No, Jensen Ackles, fuck you.
What?
I'm just pissed off. Like, put Jensen Ackles in the fucking Arrowverse. Make him Red Hood or make him the villain. He's a great motherfucker. Don't just be like visiting the set and get our fucking hopes up.
Well, right now we still see you're so far behind. I don't want to ruin anything, but shit.
Well, all right, man. I only got so much fucking time. I wasted my bullshit on watching fucking Iron Fist season 2, I guess.
We'll put it this way: there's an arrow, we don't know who it is.
There's another fucking arrow?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
No, it fits the story this time. But anyway, the point of the beginning of this is Ruby Rose is going to be Batwoman. It looks pretty accurate. We're going to get Gotham on TV in a different way than the Gotham show, which I actually like, but that's another conversation.
Well, that brings up the question: should Batman be on the Arrowverse?
Should he be? Yes. Will he ever be? No.
He could. In theory, Superman
was never going to be on Supergirl, and yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and I also heard that they're going to make a spin-off Superman show.
Well, and I hadn't heard that, so that'd be awesome if they're using this guy. That's the key.
That's it. It's going to be Tyler Hoechlin.
Okay, well then, yeah, it would be good. Here's what I think about Batman. Do I think we're going to get Batman in that world? Maybe. But I don't think you're going to get it till Gotham's over. And Gotham's last season is this season, so I think you're going to have to wait till Gotham's over.
I agree.
But I think you're going to get, from what I'm hearing, you're going to get Batman on the small screen for the first time since 1966 this year. So that's exciting.
For probably like 1 second.
I don't care.
Actually, I would be really okay with Jensen Ackles being like a year one Batman.
What if he's Gordon? He kind of looks like Gordon.
No, fuck that. I'm so sick and tired of the origin Gordon. I want Batman.
No. But I'm saying if they're going to be in Gotham for a crossover episode, which is where we're going to get Ruby Rose, what if he just showed up?
I see what you're saying. Well, is Batwoman in Gotham or is she in the city? Just
yes.
like Arrow?
No, it's Gotham. They're going to Gotham.
Oh, yeah, I'm okay with that. But I'd rather. Oh God.
What?
I want a Batman show where he's not a fucking kid. I'm sorry.
I liked Gotham. I do.
I like Gotham too, but like honestly, Gotham was only great because the fucking kid playing Joker.
No, I liked it before that, but I can see what you're saying. He's doing really well.
He did a great job. I mean, he's that first episode where at the end where he reveals like he's the fucking Joker.
Yeah.
Like where he's just like, my mother was a whore. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Wait till you see. Are you behind on that too? For real, I'm not. Okay, wait till you see where it's gone.
I already know because the fucking internet, but I already know it's his twin and all that.
I know, but dude, it's. You were talking about how it looked. It's creepy. Let's finish up this thing we wanted to talk about that we warned stuff about because we're getting long here, and I want to wrap this up. But
all right, Steph, love you, but fuck off.
That was him, not me. We're not even gonna. Look, I don't even want to really get into the movie. Like, I really don't. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, the movie was okay. It was fun.
About the spoiler. That's the main thing.
What's that?
We have to talk about the spoiler. I don't want to spoil that.
Oh, well, yeah, but I'm saying the movie itself was good enough. It was okay. Michael Pena was Michael Pena. There were definitely some cool things. I'll go over highlights very quickly. The car, being able to shrink the car at any point, I thought was kind of neat. I did like that. Overall, it was just a good movie. It was. I thought the de-aging went well with both Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Douglas. I think that went well. The whole thing was well, but you're right. Let's get to the spoiler. Let's deal with that. The spoiler is the post-credit scene. That is the biggest, as you described it to me via text, what the fuck moment in a long time, and definitely in that movie
since Infinity War.
Yeah, probably. Okay, I'll give you that. So the basic premise of Ant-Man and the Wasp is that the wife and Hope's mother has been alive this whole time, stuck in the quantum subatomic realm, and they figure it out, and they find a way to bring her back. They bring her back. What? Go ahead.
Well, which was alluded to because
yes,
but here's the thing. I'm surprised that there was like, after the first Ant-Man came out, there was not a fucking ton of photos of this on the internet. Because when he is subatomic, Is that's the term?
Yeah, I think that's the term. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about when he's like super tiny or his normal shrunk size.
When he's like in the fucking like super tiny fucking world, where he's going, when he's shrinking. Yeah, when he's shrinking constantly.
Subatomic.
There is a part where like the fucking visuals are flashing in front of him. You see a silhouette of the Wasp uniform.
Oh, do you really? I missed that. I'll have to go back and look at the first one. What I'm saying
is, I feel like I'm the only one who fucking discovered this.
You might be.
Because I expected it all over the fucking net, but I don't see it. But I'll try and bring it up on. But I thought they hinted at that from the very beginning, because like either it's when he's shrinking and kind of like losing reality, or when he hears his daughter's voice and kind of gets enough incentive to grow and come back. You see a visual in front of him it's blatant if you watch it and freeze frame it. It is the Wasp outline. It's Hope.
Okay.
Or Janet, depending on which one.
Right. But in that they find a way to bring her back, and then to travel back to the quantum realm as it becomes, and try to harness its power. And at one point, she even says to him, "Watch out for this creature." I forget the name of it, but they'll suck the time out of you, or something like that is what she said, which is honestly how I think they may be fixing the Infinity War. They'll be using something from that, but we'll get there. And they send him in there to collect some data, basically. They go in there to get this. You just said. They go in there to get this information and this stuff so they can study it, and he radios back to them, and nobody's answering him. And he's like, "Hello, hello." The camera pans back out to the real world, and dust is falling from the sky.
Yeah, it is the second of the snap.
Or shortly thereafter because I don't think it was instantaneous. Like, I think it took not a lot of time, but minutes maybe for that.
Seconds.
You think seconds? Okay. They probably just drug it out.
It's seconds.
Because
they do a countdown. It's like, all right, count me out. 5, 4, 3, and then like at the 2 and 1, there's no. You don't hear them anymore. So that means it's.
I'm talking about overall, from the minute the snap to the minute the dissolution begins, like, because it feels like.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like the whole thing.
It's probably probably 30 seconds max.
Before everyone's dissolved, do you think?
Yeah, that's what
It felt longer. I was going to say like 2 minutes, but that's.
It felt longer for Spider-Man. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Oh.
Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good.
I don't feel so good. I don't want to go.
I don't want to go.
Like, you know what? We went back to, we were talking about Emmys earlier and D'Onofrio. Like, I don't think we'll ever get it for multiple reasons, but like that look on Robert Downey's face afterwards, like that pain look, he hit that pain look perfectly.
I mean, is it Oscar worthy? No, but is it him acting and not just being like, "I am Iron Man"? It's very good. So I sent you the link. If you want to bring it up on your screen, just follow that. Just search that thing. That's what I'm talking about.
It's playing now.
Yeah, so for those listening, I sent him the link of that scene at the end of the first Ant-Man, where he goes subatomic and sees like flashes of the silhouette. And again, like, obviously I'm not the first one to see it because there's this video, but I was astounded that it wasn't just fucking blasting all over everything after the release of Ant-Man. The first one, I mean.
Right.
Because I was like, oh, fuck yeah, she's definitely going to come back. But I mean, as much as Michelle Pfeiffer is a great actress and she's probably the definitive Catwoman for everybody, unless you're like a Puritan 66 fan. I kind of want Sharon Stone, just to have Michael Douglas and Sharon Stone be on screen together. Since Basic Instinct, I thought that'd be really fucking funny. Not to mention although I think she's in some.
Oh, I see it. I just saw it.
See that shit?
Yeah. It is quick, though. I can see how you could miss it.
Yeah, actually, fucking nuts.
Did you say it was right before he grew back out?
I don't remember. It was either when he was shrinking or when he grew back out.
Okay, because I saw it when he was shrinking, unless it shows up twice.
I don't know.
No, I was just asking. I'm not... Yeah.
I think when he grows, it's sped up. Whereas when he's shrinking, it's kind of slowed down a little bit.
No, it was fast when he was shrinking, so... I'm watching it now. Anyway, I get what you're saying about the having them on screen together, but I still think she did a great job, and
she did a great job.
I just think that I don't know. The snap when he was asking to bring back out, and there was nobody there, because that leaves him stuck in the Quantum realm now.
Well, here's the whole thing: is that there's a new deleted scene floating around from Ant-Man and the Wasp,
right.
which I watched the other day, and it's Janet's the mom, right? Janet's the original Wasp.
I think so, but that's
Hope is the younger one. Hope is Evangeline.
Yeah.
Okay, so Janet, when Janet and Scott. are in the fucking subatomic realm together, and they're trying to like blah 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 get the fuck out because at that deadline they have to fucking be at a certain place at a certain time in order to get the fuck back.
Right.
There's a deleted scene where they're walking, and she talks about like how there are other universes in this realm, which it's kind of a question why they deleted that scene.
Wait, say it again. I'm sorry, I was looking at something. Say it again.
In the deleted scene, she talks about how there are other universes in that realm.
Yeah, she does. No, I've seen that. They talk about that. She says it in the movie.
But they point blank, they expand on that in the deleted scene.
Okay.
Which, for some to theorize, maybe a connection to where all the Thanos snapped people go.
Right.
Maybe the dead souls. It could be where you could bring the mutants for the X-Men. It could very well be the Inhumans.
Yep.
It could be. It could be when you get to the weird, like alternate dimensions of. It could be the fucking weird multiverse for Marvel.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's because. I don't know, dude. It's weird that they filmed that scene. Because Marvel filmed shit with a purpose.
Yep.
Except for that other bonus credit scene where it shows that giant ant playing fucking drums.
Which is funny.
That pissed me off so much because I was like, oh, there's a bonus scene. Oh shit, they're gone, dude. They're fucking dusted. They're like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna be the next bonus scene? Oh, here's an ant fucking drumming. Fuck you.
Okay, well, I can see how that's a letdown, but yeah, it's not.
To me, I mean, look, there have been 3 times where after the movie's playing, I yell out, "Fuck you, Marvel!" And it's always at a bonus scene, and it was the first one. I think was at the end. It may have just been 2. There was this Ant-Man the Wasp because I was like, "Oh, fuck you, Marvel." And then the other one was when Captain America shows up at the end for Homecoming, and he's like, "Patience, patience is all about blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck you, Marvel!"
Yeah,
and like I heard people being like, "There are children here." I'm like, "Oh, fuck you too."
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's the only time I remember thinking "fuck you, Marvel" was when I was watching people dissolve. That's the only time I remember thinking that. Yeah, but you were saying
it through tears. You're like, "Fuck you, Marvel,
bastards."
Fuck you, Marvel. Fuck you. Yeah, actually, no. I take that back. I said "fuck you, Sony" the entire time I was watching Venom.
Was it that bad, really?
I mean, look, it's very entertaining, but it's. What I liked about it was Tom Hardy, like kind of like Venom is in his ear or in his brain,
right?
So he could talk to him, and only he hears him. So there's some great parts where he is sort of being schizophrenic out,
right?
And like talking to the voice in his head, and then like there's other people around him be like, who are you talking to? He's like, oh, no one. It's just don't worry about it. Just ignore me. He does. Tom Hardy does a good job. Riz Ahmed, I think is the fucking guy's name. The villain. Fucking
which is
awful.
Which is weird to say about Venom because Venom is a villain. You know, like.
Well, he's an anti-hero. I mean, he really is an anti-hero.
Yeah. I guess.
There is a bonus scene for Venom, by the way.
Okay.
And it's like what you wish the whole movie was about.
Well,
just like, oh.
Look, I'm going to see this, but I'm probably not going to see it for a long time, and I don't care enough about spoilers on this thing. Because there was rumors galore, and people who haven't seen this that don't want any spoilers, stop now, because I'm asking a flat-out question, and I want a flat-out answer, and I don't care. Does Tom Holland show up in this fucking thing at any point? I don't even care if it's that scene. Does he show up at all?
Nope.
Okay. Because there was rumor he was going to show up. Not in the whole movie, but there was going to be a point where he was there.
There was a rumor. There at one point he was listed on IMDb that he was going to be showing up. He was reported on the set. That was confirmed. Is he had showed up on the set, which means there's probably a deleted scene.
Right.
But honestly, the whole tone of the film, it would be weird for him to be in the movie at all because it is such a weird departure
from Spider-Man.
Yeah, you watch it and you're like, fuck, this could have been amazing. Not to pun Spider-Man, this could have been fucking incredible.
Right.
They could have connected it if they just gave a shit. If Sony wasn't greedy and trying to fucking make their own universe that literally no one wants. No one wants this whole Venom verse or this spider villain fucking verse. No one gives a fuck.
We're almost at 3.5 hours, but I have one quick question to ask, and I think we need to wrap it up. And this goes to a bigger question that we may have to save for another episode. And we've kind of talked about this before, but I'm going to pose the question again. Disney has an obscene amount of money. We both know this. Anyone knows this. Anyone who knows anything knows that Disney just has an obscene amount of money, right?
Yes.
Why are they not just going to Sony and Universal and whatever and going, give us our shit back, whatever your price is, just name it so that we can have it back?
The problem with that is Sony has money too.
Because they don't have Disney money. Nobody has Disney money at this point.
No one has Disney money, but they have their own money. And so, remember when Sony used to just do fucking like stereos and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for some reason, they decided to be a movie company. Like, I mean, there's not that many fucking Sony movies where I'm like, that was an amazing film.
Right.
There's really not. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just a production company. I don't know if it's just...
Because if Marvel got their hands on the entire Spider-Man universe, which they kind of have, like that's... But I mean, they could prevent stuff like Venom from coming out and only have it come out on their...
Or they would do it properly.
Right, or do it properly. Then, like, Marvel just... Dude, like, everyone's worried about the post-Avengers 4 world, and I gotta be honest with you, I'm there too, like... What's next? Because I think a lot of these people are going to be dead, whether it's from the snap or some other form of death. You're not going to have Thor anymore. We didn't even get into the stuff with the trouble Chris Evans got into, and I'm not going to bother, but... What?
I don't know what trouble did he get into. I don't know. So, you don't have to dive into it, but what happened?
Well, there's not a whole lot to it, but apparently he put up something on Twitter and Instagram saying, hey, just finished wrapping Avengers 4. I've enjoyed playing Cap for the last 8 years or whatever it's been. Like, I'm not trying to get the number wrong. Thank you to everybody.
Hemsworth.
What's that?
Yeah, you said I think you said Hemsworth. That's why I was thrown off.
Oh, that's Evans. But
Evans.
He put up
yeah.
And he got in trouble. So Marvel basically made him walk that back a bit because it made it sound like he was done with Cap, like done with Cap. And Marvel made him walk it back. Or Disney or whoever.
Honestly, there needs to be like we said this for the Roseanne lowering the bar episode.
Yeah.
For every celebrity there needs to be a filter to a certain degree. If you're going to post something about your movie, you should like run it by your there needs to be a position for like a production team to like,
but
hey, I want to post about this.
Okay, but see, you're opening up an argument that I don't think we have time for right now. But like what he did compared to what Roseanne did, we're talking apples and fucking oranges here. Like he just said, "Thank you for letting me play Cat for the last 8 years." How is that a thing? Like it doesn't. It doesn't even give away the end of the movie. It really doesn't.
Here's the thing: is there any question that he'll fucking die? Like we all kind of thought he was going to die in Avengers: Infinity War.
Even if he doesn't die. Let's just say he doesn't die. He could still hang up the shield. Like, I think he...
Nice.
What?
Nice.
Thank you. But I mean, like, because we both know in the comic book at some point the Winter Soldier becomes Cap.
So does Falcon.
Right. So they could take it either way with Bucky or Sam. You know now,
here's another thing they could fucking do. They could retire a character, let the actor fucking do some shit, make his own fucking random movies, and then bring him back in like another 5 movies. You're like, hey, I mean,
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know why. I just don't know why this is such. Excuse me. I don't know why this is such a big atrocity. Like, I don't know why this is such a thing that they made him walk it back.
Because Disney and Marvel is always freaking out with Tom Holland and Mark Ruffalo. They're always revealing spoilers. They're always dropping shit. They're always revealing shit. You know, where it's the point where like they are so like I've heard they have like filmed multiple endings for like Marvel movies so that the other if someone spoils it, then they know who spoiled it or leaked it out. So be like, aha, you only filmed that fucking part.
Right.
So we know this came from you.
Yeah, so but they don't walk the Russo brothers back for doing that thing that we spent 45 minutes analyzing like 4 episodes ago, or the thing they just put out, which is so fucking weird.
I think that's Adam Warlock, by the way.
Well, yeah, you mentioned that before, but that's not the point. The point is, like, they're not walking the Russo brothers back.
Because the Russo brothers didn't reveal anything. All they said is, we wrapped filming. We're done.
Well, on the first thing, they potentially ruined or spoiled the name of the movie. If people are right,
but that still cannot possibly be the title. That could what Marvel's doing, what the Russos are doing great, is letting the fans froth at the mouth, being like, "What does this mean?" But Captain America, Chris Evans, is saying, "I'm done. Interpret that as you will. That means he's fucking dead, or he's retired. That's all that means."
Or it just means Chris Evans is done playing the character. The actor is done
he's
playing.
Retired.
Well, okay, but in theory, you could, and I'm not saying this would ever happen, but you could throw me in the thing, still call me Steve Rogers, and still have a Steve Rogers run, and it wouldn't be Chris Evans. It means Chris Evans is done. It doesn't mean Cap's done. It doesn't mean Steve Rogers is done.
Which is revealing, and I understand. I look, I'm with you. We're kind of arguing and agreeing at the same time.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
my frustration's not with you; it's with Marvel. But anyway, go ahead.
I didn't react with fucking Venom, no pun intended, with the whole Captain America or with Chris Evans's fucking tweet. I was like, hey man, I mean, and everyone who commented on it, from what I saw, we're all like, you are the best Captain America. We love you. Thank you for putting out 8 years with us. We really appreciate it.
I said what I said to you on this show about how, like, look, I didn't like that you played 2 characters in the Marvel Universe, but you know what? Yeah. You proved me wrong. Like, I flat out responded to him with that.
Here's the thing. What Hugh Jackman said, Logan was going to be his last fucking movie.
Right.
Which, when he said that, no one lost their shit.
No.
We all were like, he's probably going to die. He's probably going to fucking die. But when he still died on screen, spoiler, sorry, it still hit us in an emotional fucking range. You know, right. I just think Disney and Marvel are just kind of like, no, don't say anything. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, this is how you get people interested. Like, you need people to argue on a fucking podcast for us to keep the fucking momentum going.
And I bet they figure.
I mean, no matter.
I bet they figure the snaps enough for that. You don't need anything else.
Fuck yeah, but I mean, I've already been hearing rumors that it's gonna take place 5 years in advance.
You mentioned that, and honestly, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't want to get into it tonight, but I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't either. Although I would, if they do that, I would love to see like Tony Stark channel the Robert Downey Jr., not the other way around, and be like a fucking depressed drug addict alcoholic. Like, have that demon in the bottle segment that we kind of briefly got in Iron Man 2 where he thought he was going to die and shit.
Yeah.
Have him be like crazy and like he lost everyone. He lost Peter Parker. Let's say Pepper Potts is dead. Have him be holed up in his fucking room just like, I can't fucking do anything anymore. And but have this be the scene where Chris Evans kicks down his fucking door, said, we are working on our shit right now, and you are taking a shower, and you are going to help me write this shit. I'm sorry for what I did, but we are getting you sober, and we need you to be the hero that we need. That's what I want.
And here's the thing, and we probably should wrap it up with this, but I will say that having dealt with people that I know that have addictions, that even though it's only in the script and it's not for real and they wouldn't actually have him drinking anything, that might be too much of a trigger that would actually send him for real back into that. So I don't know if he'd want to do that for that reason alone.
No, he's been drunk on screen since he's sobered up. He was drunk in Iron Man 2.
Yeah, but there's a difference between getting drunk in Iron Man 2 and going into the depravity you're talking about. Like, there's a fine line. And like, again, that's a conversation we maybe need to save for another day. And I'm not discrediting you or giving you shit. I'm just saying there's a potential for danger in that. He may not want to do it for that reason. But otherwise, I think you got a good idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying your idea is bad. I just don't know that he'd want to do it for that reason. That's all.
No. You said it was a good idea. Stick to that. I'm good with that. Let's just end it with saying, we got a good idea. Good night, everybody.
CJ here with a few thank yous and to let you know how you can get in touch with and follow the show and us. For PodAskew, go to iTunes, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts on your iPhone, and Google Play Music on your Android phone to listen to, subscribe, rate, and comment on the show, or the Listen Notes podcast search engine at www.listennotes.com. Go there, type in PodAskew, all one word, and you can stream us right there. If you want to agree with or yell at us directly, follow Rico, me, and the show on Twitter. The show is at PodAskew, Rico is at RantsRico, and I'm at M_Blade. If you need to contact the show for promotional reasons, tweet Stephanie at PodAskewPR. Check out Rico's YouTube channel, Rico's Rants, on YouTube at www.youtube.com/Rico'sRants. Thank you to Dubbed in English for our opening theme music, 96 Reasons. They're no longer online, but you can contact me for a copy of the full song or the whole Plan 9 EP. Thank you to Samuel Lemons for our closing music, Theme Askew. You can find his music on SoundCloud at www.soundcloud.com/Samuel-Lemons. Finally, our biggest thank you is to you, everyone, for listening. Rico and I really appreciate your time and look forward to bringing you another episode soon.
I am the immortal Iron Fist, weapon of Kunlun. And I'm fulfilling my destiny.
Damn it!
PodAskew.